I love to see the towns passing by and to ride these rails neath God's blue sky. Let me travel this land from the mountains to the sea, 'cause that's the life I believe He meant for me. And when I'm gone and at my grave you stand, say God called home your rambling man.
Welcome to Ramblin' Man Podcast, episode number 41. This one is with Stephen Brandon, bartender extraordinaire, otherwise known as Brooklyn. We just pretty much shoot the shit about bartending and what it's like to be a bartender and kind of the seriousness he takes in that field. It's a great episode, great talk. I've known him forever. Good dude. This episode is sponsored by Feral Giant. Feral Giant is a graphic design, illustration, social media consultation company here in Knoxville, Tennessee, although they do work for everywhere all over the world. To find out more information about Feral Giant, visit feralgiant.com or any social media at Feral Giant. Here's my talk with Brooklyn. So what's funny, we're going. So,
okay.
Let's see.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. What's funny is the past 3 episodes have all started with Game of Thrones talk.
Really?
But the last episode I cut it out because he didn't have anything to say. So I was like, okay, never mind.
Right.
We'll just keep moving forward.
But it cracks me up. We were talking about this earlier about how people just get so bent out of shape over just something so It's fantasy.
Yeah.
These are not real. Just enjoy the ride. Enjoy the spectacle of what it is.
Yeah.
It's not, they're not, like you said, we're not curing cancer.
We're not curing cancer here.
It's just
David
a story.
Gailey, yeah.
Just be in the story.
Yeah, it's every once in a while so I came to a realization years ago in watching a UT game, I was getting pissed.
Wow.
At the players. I was like, damn it, you should do this, damn it. And then as I'm yelling, I'm like, they're 18-year-old kids.
Yeah.
I think I was like 35 at the point, and I was like,
right.
I'm an idiot.
Right.
I was like, I need to stop being so pissy about these
right.
kids.
And could you imagine what it happens when you go to the levels down with parents screaming at 7, 8-year-old kids?
Yeah.
It's just, we all played at one point, and you tried to live this vicarious life, and it's just not for you anymore. Those times have passed. Yeah.
I think I was lucky in that my dad, I don't know if I've told these stories before, but I've seen him angry, like truly like, holy shit, he's going to kill everyone in here. Very few times, and he's a large man. I know that's a big shocker.
Right.
That he would be a big dude.
It's
I've seen him.
I would have been shocked if he was like a small man, like like he was the last, part of the lollipop gang. You know what I'm saying?
I've seen him simmering mad, like, oh shit, I need to stay on his good side a lot. But actually angry. And I told Mom this story recently. We were playing basketball, and he was never one to get angry at us or anything. If we screwed up, it was like, it's a game. Who cares?
Right, yeah.
But one time we were playing, and the refs were also coaches for other teams in that league, and we were an outsider team.
Wow.
So
that seems
at the end of the game that we lost, and we shouldn't have lost, he made us all sit on the bench, and he sat there, and he started pointing at us and then pointing at the refs, and he was like, I don't want any of you boys to be down about this. It's those fucking assholes. And he just going off, and we're all like 12 or 13, like
the education of every young man.
Why are you yelling at us, Dad?
Can't we just go to Dairy Queen?
Yeah. I thought we were going to get pizza, Dad. Can we go to Mr. Gaddy's and watch the big screen? But he was yelling at those refs, but also yelling at us at the same time. So it's kind of like, what the that was the year
raw emotion.
I hit or it was my freshman year, so I was 13, and I hit a growth spurt, and I was 6'2", 220.
Wow.
6'1", 220. And then we had another guy, Mac, on the team who already had facial hair.
That was me. I was Matt then. Yeah, I was the kid they sent to the liquor store.
We had to bring our birth certificates every game.
Wow.
Because every team challenged us.
Wow.
And they were like, no, we're just big kids. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, Mac, I still remember he had hairier legs than I have now at 13. He's very hair astute, I think. Is where I wanted to put that.
It's a throwback.
Yeah, but he...
like maybe he should not take the 33 and me or whatever that generic.
23 and me, yeah.
23 and me.
Yeah.
42. He had 42.
42.
That's why he couldn't take
Yeah, he was taking the 42.
He took the wrong
42
test.
and you, yeah. But he... but yeah, we were... And I told my mom another story about a guy on our team, Kevin Gallion, that I still remember there was one team we played that the parents would yell and shit on the other teams.
Oh, yeah.
And like, he's pushing our boy and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And there was one time they were yelling at Kevin, and then he nailed a three-pointer, walked up to him. My mom was sitting beside them, I don't know why, with my little sister, who was little at that point, like 2 years old, and he started flipping off the other parents.
What?
And running down the court. And my mom
God.
was like, y'all need to talk to Kevin. I'm like, he needs to not do that. And I was like, now I look back and it's like, he was taking shit the entire game. Screw that. Those parents... We're 13 years old, man. You gotta calm down.
Just let the kids play sometimes and get out of the. These are. I think sports for me was a great thing because it did teach me how to, play as a team, be a team member, hold accountability, and watch the next man next to you, the woman next to you, and take care of them, and it goes down the line. The whole band of brother kind of thing,
Accepting loss.
Accepting loss. Great. That's a great point. I mean, how you can take a loss. I didn't get a trophy just because I showed up.
Yeah.
I got, hey, good job. I'll see you next year.
Yeah.
That's it.
I'd say we all got trophies at the end of the year. We all just got like team trophies, and then we had special ones like most improved player.
Yes, and we got that. That's it. But these participation awards now, and everybody's got to be. I'm all about sensitive and people and stuff like that, and watching people's feelings and not hurting anybody. You singe, you don't burn. That's how it is. You know?
You singe, you don't burn.
You singe, you don't burn.
Awesome.
That's the whole thing. But I try to teach my daughter too to accept the loss. You know, just hey, this is the way life is.
Yeah,
not everything's going to be a rose parade. You just go and try harder.
Yeah, that was a big thing with Dad. It wasn't about getting super excited when you won or super down when you lost. He was like, no, that's how the game ended up.
That's it. Yeah,
we'll be at practice on Tuesday.
Yeah, I'll see you on. Just get better.
Yeah,
just get better. So
which is, see, I'm a big believer in. I think kids should play sports. And I think this comes from a GM when I worked at Taco Bell because I'm classy. He said,
"Thanks for all the parasites in my guts when I was
you're well, dude. I could. I should tell Taco Bell stories.
No, hey, Taco Bell. I heard they were opening up a Taco Bell themed hotel.
They are, and
I can imagine what that smells like. I mean,
it smells like ass and depression.
With hot sauce.
Yeah, with hot sauce.
Failure and regret.
Yeah. But the GM there, he said, I think every kid when they're in high school should work in the service industry.
Oh, I agree.
In restaurant, in fast food.
I agree.
In something. But he was like, that way they'll teach them when you show up to a bar or somewhere and are like, you are not a dick. Like,
yes. Yeah. There's an etiquette that everybody should possess. And what bothers me is that when there are people that have worked in the service industry, when they were like, oh, I was 16 and I worked at so-and-so, and then they come to a bar and act like the person that they hated. Yeah. And they're doing the same thing. Like, we serve, we're not servants. Yeah. You know, and there's so much etiquette that people nowadays, especially in our sweet town here, in our sweet city here, that with all these bars and breweries coming together, 20 years ago, there's always a dick. There's always some douchebag or some drunk chick that's like, hey, or some guy. There's an etiquette to follow. If you want to get served at a busy bar, you should follow certain things. Just make eye contact. smile. Don't push your money out. Don't ever fucking snap your fingers.
No.
And make eye contact with the bartender. If the bartenders are working, wait. Be patient. They see you. They will get to you.
Yeah.
Once they get to you, don't start making up your mind then. Know what you want. Go and get out of there. Go.
That's what drives me nuts about the people who go to like the coffee shops and stuff, and they wait in line and get all the way to the top, and they're like,
and they have no idea. Yeah.
And
look up from your fucking phone for 5 seconds and figure it out, man.
I am a black coffee drinker, but every once in a while I want something different. And I have just walked up and been like, I would like something hot and sweet.
Right.
And they're like, well, we have that. I was like, I don't care. I trust you.
Just put it in front of me. I gotta
just let me know how much I owe you, man.
That's it, man.
I was like, you're the expert here. I'm good. I'm good.
I mean, nowadays, like especially in the bar business or that, this whole craft stuff.
Yeah.
This whole for me, it's fuck that. It's bartending.
Yeah.
Bartenders, in the height of the golden age of bartending, there's, there was no craft.
Yeah.
The craft was the artistry of being a barman or a barwoman. You know, nowadays you've got to wait 45 minutes while somebody scrapes the shivet shit and gets this ingredient that I've got to go mine, and then I'm crushing it into another powder, and then 16 hours later you're like, oh, that's the wonderful drink. And then I take a picture. Some idiot takes a picture of it. And
easy. Some of us take.
It's nothing about that. I'm just like, move aside. I got somebody else. You know what I'm saying?
So I will. Yeah. This was funny. A friend of mine and I went and saw a show at the Tennessee, and this is like 2 or 3 years ago. And afterwards, she was like, "Let's go get a drink." Great. And she loves a certain cocktail bar downtown.
Oh, hey. Look, I'm not disparaging anybody here.
No,
everybody has a wonderful craft. But I'm just a little old.
It cracked me up. And I'm not disparaging this bar because I like a fruity cocktail
every once in a while.
And I'll go ahead and say it was Sapphire. And they had
a beautiful bar.
And their bartenders know their shit.
Oh, they're wonderful. That's class.
Yeah, Pat. Pat was the guy, the big guy. He's awesome. But they had like cotton candy and smoked and all this stuff. A bar full of women very nicely dressed, drinking champagne with, my friend got, I'm trying to remember what it's called, but it's some kind of champagne with a blackberry in it or something. I don't know.
Yeah, well,
but it's whatever
champagne. That
whatever.
Sounds good. Champagne coulis.
Champagne coulis.
I don't know.
It's whatever that is. But I'm sitting in there. She's a salesperson. She was like, order whatever you want. I was like, don't tell me that.
Take the Pappy Van Winkle on the top there.
Oh, trust me. And I was like, okay, cool. And I ordered, I think, Willet Single Barrel. I was like, I'll start with Willet Single Barrel because I know it's good. And I know it's not going to rob your wallet. Like, it's a good. Right. And so I got that. And I watched Pat walk past me. And then all of a sudden he paused and looked back. And he started backing up to me. He said, ooh. What's that? Because I was drinking it neat. And everybody else was drinking like pink drinks and
umbrellas and Roman
cotton candy and shit. And he's like, ooh, what's that? And I was like, it's Willet Single Barrel. He said, oh. And he went and got 3 other bottles. He's like, have you tried this, or this? And I was like,
that's how you do it.
I was like, I've tried that. I've heard of that. I've never heard of that. And he was like, okay. Are you going to be drinking tonight? Yes. I said, yes. And he was like, then you need to go with this.
Okay.
And it got to the end of where my friend was like, is there any last drink you want to try? I was like, I've never tried Japanese whiskey. And he said, I'll be right back.
Oh, yeah.
And he brought the Nika coffee whiskey.
Yes.
That I ended up buying a bottle.
Centauri time?
Yeah. Oh, God.
Are you drinking? I am as soon as I get out of here. Bill Murray.
But he set that down. He was like, on my shelves, this is the best Japanese whiskey. And it was
really
to the point.
I've not tried a lot.
I've got some. Well, hell, you're in the bar. I was going to say I've got some. You can try it, but you're in the bar.
No, I don't. There's none on our shelves right now.
But I ended up giving it to a buddy of mine who loves high-end alcohol, and he was like, "This is a testament to that. My wife hates whiskey and bourbon straight. She drank that shit straight.
Really?
And he was like, that's how good that stuff is.
Really?
And Pat was
it's whiskey. It can't be bourbon.
No.
Right.
No, she doesn't like whiskey or bourbon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, straight. Okay. She doesn't like either one of those neat.
The Japanese, it's whiskey. It can't be. Yeah, it has to be the.
But Pat was telling me, he was like, yes. He said, here's the thing. This bottle, you get this bottle and you drink this, it'll taste exactly like a bottle you have 3 years from now. He's like, because all their thing is consistency. Consistency.
I'm always amazed by the artistry of the Japanese distiller, and I will tell you, there's a bar in Brooklyn, I can't remember the name, that's all they work in.
Yeah.
Is the Japanese spirits.
Yeah.
There's a wonderful documentary called The Birth of Sake, and if you've never seen this, it's a
No.
beautiful documentary about how these families send the individual, one of the people that work at the distillery or the brewery, so to speak,
Yeah.
and they spend months, during the winter months on producing sake, and they all live together. It's this communal aspect, and it's it's not everybody thinks it's distilled, but sake is actually brewed.
Oh,
like beer.
I didn't know
in
that.
a way. Yeah, and so it's really interesting. But if you ever get to see that, that's a wonderful documentary. It's on Netflix. It's called What Isn't. But The Birth of Sake is an amazing thing like that. But I love sake. I don't know about.
I haven't had that much sake.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah. Oh my God. I still. There are certain things, like I'm not a big gin person.
I like a good G&T.
Okay.
Yeah.
I liked what Stanton did with the gin at Knox Whiskey Works.
There's nothing.
Then at Postmodern, it's just it's elevated even
what's
higher.
What's going on in this town right now with Knox Whiskey and Postmodern and all the other ones in there? But what they're doing, especially Stanton, because I carry if Stanton Webster touches it, and this is a total plug for him. It's coming into this bar. It's just not, if I can get it, distributed. I know he has certain things that only. But me and him are going to make. I'm hoping when he gets time a collaborative drink, because we are going to make some drinks for the rhythm. No, I'm sorry. At the UT Gardens there was an auction for this place. So the Corner Lounge put that up, and some folks won it and bidded on it for a fundraiser at the new pavilion at the UT Gardens. And I'm going to go down there, and so I'm going to do some local drinks with Stanton's gin and stuff like that. And it's going to be a lot of fun. But I wanted to make sure I incorporated Knoxville and him, because to me he is the quintessential forefront of distilling in this
I call
town.
him, he's the kind of the behind the scenes guy that a lot of people don't know. Him, but the people who, not saying that, but I mean, but the people who know him realize how important he is.
Oh, he's very important.
That's the way I put it. There's random people in town, they're like, they would never need to know or whatever.
Right.
But,
no, they just want to put it in front of them. But what you're seeing happening in this town, this whole, 20 years ago, you would have never even thought about this.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Nobody would have even come up this way 20 years ago. The old city was considered the Wild West, and downtown was dead.
Yeah.
All we had was Manhattan's, Patrick Sullivan's, and when I started there, we had Hoorays still there.
And shortly after that,
Spaghetti
the cigar
Warehouse was that. Then I had the cigar bar later, and that's where you and I officially met.
That's still one of the best bars I've ever been to.
Well, that was great. That was Pete Zaring's place, and Sean Blair and Pete opened that place up, so that was great. Excuse me if I'm burping.
No, I somehow miss Spaghetti Warehouse. It closed down, I think, right before I started feeling comfortable enough to go.
Right.
Which was
I had the motorcycle
16.
bar. Well, Connie Davenport had the motorcycle bar right next door, which was Helmet Head, and that's when the little cabana bar, right when you come out of Barley's, there's that little cabana bar right there.
Yeah.
And that used to be Helmet Head.
Oh my God.
Right, and that was a motorcycle bar. That's when really the old city started doing bike night. Started right there on Thursday night bike night. We used to have 300 bikes in there.
Yeah,
so when I moved back to Knoxville, I started for Connie in 1990. I think it was 6 or 7. We opened that up, and then after that, I started working for Sean Blair, and was at Manhattan's. My beautiful girl down there, now board stick and reel.
Yeah.
So I have so much rub time in that bar and blood in that bar. I got to be related to that thing.
I still think, and whenever I tell people about you, I still tell this story because I used to go to the cigar bar all the time.
Right.
And the biggest thing I loved there that was the first place where they did the bourbon flights.
Oh, yeah.
Before anybody else did that shit.
Yeah, that's right. We did.
And I got to try so much stuff.
Yeah.
Although I will say I tried some tequila in there that was in looked like it was a pottery, came out of a pot, and I drank it, and it made me sick as shit. And I was just like,
Tequila.
well, that's got to be authentic. I mean, it's in that. And I was like, the next morning, I was like, oh God.
Well, did you have it with the bourbon flight? Because you're not supposed to even mix those two.
Probably.
And Joe, I mean, come on, Jody. You're you're
Look
a
at
big
me.
guy.
I
You
can
can
drink a
handle
lot.
it,
I
right?
can
But you start
That was
sucking
not
down
some-
those. No, you start sucking down that bourbon and then hitting some tequila while you're smoking a stogie.
Oh, yeah.
Oy, forget about it. Yeah.
I've never claimed to be a smart man. Come on, man. But that place, I met you in there,
Yeah.
and then I remember it was like 6 months later, I popped into Manhattan's when I was doing the magazine.
That
and
was towards the end of the Manhattan days.
Yeah,
what's
and it
after
was
this?
like 3 in the afternoon. I walked in, I was dropping off some magazines,
Yeah.
and you looked at me and you're like, Jack Daniel's neat. And I said, yes. And you're like, I can't remember your name, but I
I know what
remember
you
you. I was like, holy shit, how did you remember?
Yes,
And then
yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, I'm 6'7".
Well,
That's how.
well, and true to that, I have always been notorious. I have had the privilege
Yeah.
and very lucky to work in this town with some of the most phenomenal bartenders.
Yeah.
I'll case in point, Ian Roach, who just
Yeah.
won Best Bartender in Knoxville.
Although no Ian. I mean, he
Well, you
short
can't.
pours.
Well, he'll short pour you, but no, my God.
I still want to make T-shirts that say no.
Oh,
Ian.
we have them.
Oh, damn it.
Amy
Okay.
Knight made them.
Oh, my
and
God.
they are hysterical. And I think you can get them from Night Tees, which her T-shirts are here at the
Okay.
bar now. That was for our art.
Damn it, she beat me
Oh
to
my
it.
God, they're hysterical. But and just I started with Stoney Timon and Pedro Vincent and Stephanie and Mary Helen. If you remember some of these names, I'm sure you're all like, oh my God. These
Or you may know him by face.
or you may know them by face, but we took care of a lot of people, and some of the other bartenders around town, Karen Brown, and so I mean there are some really spectacular bar people in this town. Now I don't get to go out as much because I sit at my own bar now, and and I love to go and I love to sit here and drink, and she's still new, and so one of the best places that I'd like to go and I haven't been in a while is down the street from us, is at the Central Depot.
Oh yeah.
And I love to hide in there sometimes, but I don't get a chance to right
Will
now. But
is
there's,
great.
oh my God, there's some beautiful people. They're just, I'm terrible with names though.
Yeah.
As long as I've done this job, I am horrific
Yeah.
with names, and I really wish that people would start wearing "Hello, my name."
Oh my God. And if I do that, I'm going to mess with you.
Oh,
I'm like,
Mr. Cocktoasting, how are you?
Jesus.
But I try to remember what you drink, and it's
Yeah.
always been that way.
But that was hilarious to me because I was just like, holy shit, you do remember me. Oh,
Yeah.
oh my God.
I
bet I may have been in there a lot.
Well,
back in the day.
there's
Back in
been
the
a
day.
lot of there's been a lot of people that have crossed in front of us as bar people that's
Yeah.
been in like I said, the names that I've said before, like Ian has been doing this forever. And then, I've got Natalie here, and then I've got some of the younger kids that are exceptional. And some of these
Right.
kids are great today. And then there's some kids that have no business being behind
Right.
the bar. They look at you and they're looking at their phone, and all of a sudden they look at you like you're interrupting
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
And there's no essence or the class to bartending anymore.
Yeah.
And like where you find those at is like you're talking about, like Sapphire, like what is it, the Oliver Royale.
Oliver Royale
And
is legit.
those are wow, But like once again, those are classy high-end bartenders. And so I hearken, my bartenders and me, we hearken back to the times when your parents drank. We're like, hey, how are you? What do you need?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, can I get like somebody yesterday? This was something. So I haven't worked late, so I'm usually the happy hour guy now.
Yeah.
And so they like to get me. I get the happy hour going because they're all our age group.
Yeah.
And then the real bartenders come in and they shoo me away like somebody's. Like I'm like somebody's deranged father back there. It's like they come in and they're like, okay, Dad, here's your money. Go sit down. And I'm like, wait, your mother is coming to Mom. Dad, Mom's been dead for 50 years.
Oh
Go
my
sit
God.
down, have a drink.
That's Natalie. She's so
Yeah.
harsh. She's so hard.
She's so hard. Ian would come in.
No.
Ian would come
Ian
in.
would.
And he would take my money and pile it up. Right, set it off to the side and tap me on the shoulder like I'm giving him fellatio. Tap me on the shoulder and like, okay, buddy, you're out of here. Let's go sit down.
Oh my
and
God.
But it's so sweet. They because they know my body can't.
Oh my
I can't
God.
take it. So, But there's so many great stories from all the years in this bar business that
I saw
that will blow your mind.
I saw something the other night that I had not seen in forever. It's during Rhythm and Bloom. Somebody walked up to the front door at Jig and Reel, and the bouncer guy looked at him and said, "You all are not coming in here.
Yeah.
We cannot serve you any more alcohol."
That's
and
why
I was
you have
like,
a bouncer.
holy hell,
Yeah.
I have not seen that in forever. Like,
Yeah.
they were three dude bros, like drunk as skunks. Like,
Yep.
and he
Yep.
was like, no, this
Nope.
is not going to happen.
And then they get all puffed up.
Those guys luckily walked
Yeah,
away. 'Cause
they're
that's
like,
that's
well,
not a small dude. He's also, I love the bartenders that are the nodders to me.
Yeah.
Like, I walked up and pulled out my ID,
Yeah.
and he was like, no.
Oh,
Come
yeah,
on in.
yeah. Well, that's Manhattan's. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, that's Boyd's Chicken Real.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that, because of the way the bar faces,
Yeah.
we used to have door there a lot. And Doc, I remember when Doc was hired there.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I go back before Doc.
Oh, my
my
God.
first guy, one of my door guys was Jack O'Hanlon's nephew.
Okay.
I mean, we going back to early like 99, 2000 here.
Yeah.
And Glenn Costadina used to, and so I have a bunch of guys, but it was great when you'd be working at the full bar and you'd hear Brooklyn, and you'd look over and you see somebody like, yeah, come on in, just come on in,
Yeah.
because you know what? Why am I going to let a person that comes in almost every other day,
Yeah.
pays for the light bill,
Yeah.
he's already paid for the band 5 times over, just come sit down. You know what? If my owner or anybody says anything dick to me, here's your $5.
Yeah.
I paid for him because I'm going to get it back in tenfold, and the house is going to get it back.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes you got to give to get in this business. If the bartender gives something, he's going to get it back.
Oh,
the
yeah.
house always wins, but
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not in a vindictive way. It's because you take care of the people at the bar.
Yeah, that's because I go to all these restaurants and stuff around town. But two, I guess everybody makes fun of me for is Jackie's and Inskip Grill.
Well,
And I've seen now 2 different people try to claim well, we're Inskip Grill people. And both of those people will go, how many times have you been?
yeah, I've been there once.
You all have been the one time you took the photo
Right.
and you walked away. I was like,
I've not been there.
I don't take. Oh, God.
I know.
And he's the nicest guy in the
Oh,
world.
they're beautiful. I heard. I
He's-
still have not been to Jackie's
Yeah.
Dream, but I don't know if my
God,
my
you're
preface
killing me.
will hold
This
it
is
back.
over. This is over.
I'm not. I'm so sorry.
No.
I'm so
Jackie's
sorry.
is the best.
I know, and she moved over here,
Yeah.
right, closer where the
Yeah.
old, right next to the old hospital.
Yeah.
So I've always, and that place, if anybody's gonna do well there and
Oh, yeah.
restore that, it's Jackie.
Yeah, because it's been so many different restaurants over the years.
The Coop. I don't know.
Yeah.
What it was all kinds of stuff.
But
So-
yeah, it's weird. You saying that, it's amazing to me now in the social media age how many people go for the photo. They
Yeah.
don't go to enjoy it.
It's no
They don't
experience.
support it.
Right.
The only problem I have, and I'm going to sound like a douchebag when I say this, is now I have so many different ones. It's almost like I have to do a track. Like, okay, I'm gonna go to Central Depot this night.
Right,
then I'm gonna
right.
go to Corner Lounge this night.
Right.
And then
And
I just
Schultz-Brown and
then I have
Flats
to
and
just
Hops
oh,
and-
there's some that I'm like I just can't go there anymore, man. I can't afford to go there anymore. Like, and even like Kim at It's Also Yummy, she'll make fun of me every once in a while. She's like, "You haven't been here in a while." I was like, "I know. I'm trying to get out there. I
Eagle
swear."
flies on Friday, but
Yeah, I'm trying to get Miss Jackie. I'm surprised she hasn't texted me and fussed at me because I haven't been there like a month. And she was like, "I don't know what you're doing,
But
Jody."
that's what you're describing there is the true essence
Yeah,
of what it is when you frequent places and you just don't take a picture, but you engage in the
Oh, yeah.
clientele, you engage in
Oh,
the
yeah.
staff, you engage in the ownership, and you become, because let me tell you something, some of the greatest things in my life
Yeah.
have come from a bar.
Oh yeah.
Our friendship, my wife, right? My wife who gave me my beautiful daughter. It all stems from me working in this business, in the
Yeah.
service industry.
Yeah.
If you just give people a chance. Not everybody's the douchebag. Not everybody wants to just take a picture. People come to the public houses and establishments to engage and to create.
Yeah.
It's great to know your neighbor because when you have a strong communication with the people in your neighborhood, I think personally that the neighborhood
Yeah.
strengthens from that because
Yeah.
it's not just a fence. There's a human being on the other side of that
Yeah.
fence. And everybody, regardless, has their own beliefs and journeys that they're taking. But once you sit down at the bar,
Yeah.
or you sit down at a table, everybody's equal.
Yeah.
We're all doing the same thing.
That's one thing. Do you know John Stansel? Park City Cigar. He was at Merchants of Beer.
I know of him. I've never met him.
So when he moved over to Merchants of Beer, he made a rule in there. He's like, no politics.
Oh, politics and religion are not discussed.
And it was great because you could go in there and he's like, I want everybody to be friends when they leave
That's
here.
right.
And he was like, in a cigar shop's not the place for that shit.
That is exactly
and
right.
I was like, oh my God. And now I would drop in there and there were times where I had to stop people from talking.
Oh, yeah.
And there were people in from out of town and they go, well, and I was like, I'm going to stop you right there.
Yeah.
And I've seen John do it too before where he's like, I'm going to stop you right there.
All right.
That's the one thing we don't talk about in here. It's like we can argue over baseball.
Oh, we can. And I love that.
Yeah.
And you know what I'll allow? I allow historic discussions.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's a very fine line because you want to make sure because they bleed over one way or the other. But as long as it's historically accurate and we're speaking of something, the deader the better, so to speak.
The deader. We're just printing T-shirts here, man. The deader.
I like that. But and what John, what he had in you, and as a customer, as a client, mine do the same thing. When I'm even not here, the clientele polices the place. Yeah. And that is how you know that you're building this relationship within the community when the clientele feels comfortable enough to say, we're not doing that in here.
No.
And they're not doing it disrespectfully. It's just naturally how people go. And you always hear, well, I think we should learn how to discuss religion and politics in a respectful way. I agree with that. Not in a public house.
No.
You cannot do it because
Lord,
alcohol,
no.
it's just not going to work that way.
Oh, my God. No, Yeah. That was a great thing that I love that he does there. Yeah. Now he's moved. Well, we won't talk about.
Well,
that.
Yeah,
I'm still a little butt hurt from that.
Well, I have only caught the tail end of that stuff, but yeah, it's. I wish that all the best will work out for that.
I can't wait to see what he does next.
Oh, it's going to be phenomenal.
Yeah,
it's going to be phenomenal.
Do you do cigar? Can you smoke out there?
You can smoke outside. Yeah, inside I don't love smoking or vaping, but totally out there you can.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you're outside. I'm putting a fence in now, so because, our beloved city doesn't like people to wander, which I don't want people to. There's a road right there, so.
Although the funniest thing is when Don used to do Hot Fest in here, this music festival.
Yeah, I want to.
There was one time, one of the guys that's in a band around town that he was in, Jeff from Westside Daredevils, Mick Harrison played and had gone out back, and I was like, man, I just love the V-Royd so much. And Jeff's like, let's go out back to the green room, and and we walked out back, and I was just like, you've got to be shitting me that you call this the green room.
But it had indoor-outdoor carpeting out there. Yeah.
But also, there was no fence, so you could just wander. I was like, so I don't need anything. You're an idiot. And he was just like, what?
There was a little field back there.
I was like, oh, my God.
Oh, my God. And that's what when Mick came in, when we first opened up, and then Mick had the show in October, and I was so blessed that he'd come in and do that. That was so wonderful. And then Con Hunley was here for that, and Mick referred to it as the green room then, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah, the green room.
It's like, and Big Al was here running the music,
really,
doing the sound that day. And every once in a while, Al will come in. And he'll do some sound and stuff like that. But luckily, Amanda Starnes, Amanda Starnes?
Yeah. Oh,
she'll come in sometimes and
oh my
I'll
God.
help us out because everybody's like, well, Steve, can you do the sound? I'm like, I can hear it.
Yeah.
It's about as all I can tell you for you. Do for you.
I told Sandra, it's my goal now to find that damn parachute.
Oh.
I told her, I don't think I've told you.
Where is that thing?
I did
that psychedelic parachute.
A photo shoot in here with the Tim Lee 3 like 2 weeks before it closed. So I have photos with the parachute and the old bar. I need to.
Well, that's, the bar that we're sitting at now that you sit
is
at
the old bar.
Is the original bar here from, I think that bar dates back, it's all mahogany veneer. Every time I say veneer, I think of Fraser. We're all supposed to drink veneer. But that we just had that all done. But she slopes. And what's so funny is this whole corner slopes down where people have laid on it and drunk on it. And So when you put a drink down, it slides towards you.
Oh my God!
So it's quite funny, but
still, my favorite photo from that is Tim Lee 3. So it's Tim and Rodney and Susan.
Yeah.
And in the photo, Tim and Rodney look like they are having the time of their life, and Susan could not look more bored. I was like, "This is my favorite photo of all time."
I want that.
I was like, "This is amazing."
Make
I gotta bring you a copy.
Funny story is that one night in here, the first time I was in here when I was when Adrian and all of them, I think it was RB was up on the stage.
Yeah.
And this is years ago, right? This is for family and stuff. But he was feeling pretty good about himself, but he was tired apparently.
Yeah.
And he laid down on the stage and he just was reciting his, the manifesto.
I think I was here that night. I'm pretty sure I was here that night. Oh my God!
And I've witnessed some crazy stuff in this bar. But now, we were, like I said, we were down the street at Manhattan. So most of any stories that I have, come from that bar. But people can get, like I was just saying with RB, some people, or the guys that come in the door, some people have no business even walking into a bar. And it is just amazing how they get that far. And then the next thing you know, you're busy at a bar and you're working and you're doing your thing there. You got orders popping up. You got cocktailers sitting over there. You're taking care of a full bar. You're 3 or 4 deep. You got Manhattan's bar from the corner, from the service well all the way down to the first corner, like before you made the turn to go to the wall there. I think it's 33 1/3 feet.
Okay.
Right, I measured it once.
Yeah.
Because nobody was
You were bored.
And I already read the Metropole 4 times.
You knew every event that was happening.
I was 2 minutes away from calling the anachronist.
Oh, my God.
Sword fighting LARP crew.
God.
So, but I remember we were working. Mike Bedell was with me behind the bar, and it usually was always me and Mike behind the bar. And, I always had a big problem with one of those, speaking of etiquette again, is that you never, ever put your head down on the bar. Ever.
Okay.
Never put your head down on the bar for any bartender.
Yeah.
Because it's just a sign of you're done. You're done. Just don't put your head down on the bar. So I was sitting, if you remember the old Manhattan's bar where the New Knox taps used to, the original New Knox. So they right off to the side of that. I won't tell you what I did on that.
Oh my God!
But then we'll talk about that another.
That'll be edited out.
We won't. It's another story. My wife, if she's listening, it was it was PM. It was pre-missy.
Oh my
God! This girl was sitting at this bar. I don't know how she got in the doors late, and she sat at the bar, looked right at me, and she's like, "I'll take a beer." So I set up a high life up there, and I go about my business and turn around 2 seconds, turn around, and her head's down on the bar. And I, slapped the bar. And, I don't know if most people know this, but I'm like as tall as you are. I'm as loud. So
I'm going to quote Dale.
Yeah.
You look how I act.
Yeah, exactly. That's a beautiful thing. That's a T-shirt right there. And have a fried pie on the side. Oh, my God. Such a collect. Yeah. So I love that. Dale, if you're listening, that's beautiful. And she picks her head up, and she's looking, all glassy all of a sudden. And, that's, there might be other factors playing in here. So go down to the end of the bar, walk back, boom. Slam my hand on the bar. I said, honey, you got to pick your head up, all right?
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, don't worry. Just don't put your head down in the bar.
Yeah.
So finally, long story short, which, I'll make it longer when I always say that. So anyway, turn around, boom, her head's back down again. I'm like, that's it. You got to go. I can't have this anymore. You got to pick your head up. Because if anybody walked in, city, state, it doesn't matter. You got some idiot with the head on the bar, they're going to kill you. They're going to nail you. So finally, I'm like, honey, pick your head up. Let's go. You got to go, right?
Yeah.
Nothing. Hey, let's go. You got to put. So she's got her hands, folded around her head, so you can't see her face. And I think she's just being rude, at this point now. I'm like, and I slam the bar again, and her head bounces up and hits the bar, and I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, I think this kid's dead.
Oh, my God.
So I'm like, hey, honey, you got to go. And I'm looking at the door guy, which is at the time was Ira, and he was a beautiful guy. He was your height, 3-something, used to wear the red shirt that said 100% beef on it. It was amazing.
I remember that
beautiful
guy.
Beautiful guy. Now he runs a bank in Minnesota. So
every once in a while he just stands out front.
Yeah. You don't walk with Ira. You walked among them. You know what I'm saying?
Now I want a picture with Ira.
Oh, you want one? It's beautiful.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I'm sitting there and I'm talking and I'm like, honey, you got to go. This is done. And then I see her shoulders lurch forward. And I see her shoulders lurch forward again. And this minestrone starts seeping out from underneath her.
Oh, God.
Starts seeping out and you can hear it falling off the front of the bar.
Oh, God.
And you want to say why bartenders are the way we are? Because let me tell you, we have seen... So we pulled this girl's head back, and it looked like it was a train wreck. She had a sweater on. It was sopping it up like a biscuit.
Oh, my God.
So we had to shove all that off. We got her outside and into a Paradise Taxi. No Ubers then.
Paradise Taxi.
Rose at Paradise Taxi. God bless her soul. So it was, you wonder why and how people can do stuff like that.
Jeez.
Or how they get into the bar or what, this is years ago. I don't know. Maybe you know it because you probably go out and I see it, but drinking patterns have changed a little bit. I mean, people still get drunk, but I think things are a little different now than they used to be. I don't know, maybe the social media aspect of it. Or
I think I see more people drunk at the breweries than I do at bars. It feels like when they go to bars, I think it may be the social media because they're getting a cocktail that costs $13.
Right. Yeah.
As opposed to they're not sitting drinking straight alcohol.
Right.
But breweries, and of course because a lot of them are such high gravity.
That's a wonderful point. Yeah.
That they get. And a lot of them, because we have, I'm going to quote Alliance here, the active beer culture, a lot of people are out going mountain biking and then going and drinking a ton of beer without drinking water. And it's
true.
like,
yeah. Well, I will. And speaking of Alliance,
and I'm not crapping on Alliance.
Let me tell you something.
Adam
Matt Malone
is the best.
And those guys over at Alliance,
they are
that
the
whole
best.
crew are. I have the pleasure of every once in a while we do. During the season, this whole corridor, and of course Alliance, they all do the English Premier Soccer League. So my house here is a West Ham bar.
Okay.
The Hammers. And the Knox Hammers are our group. And James Quinlan is the top boy of that. And he's amazing bunch of people.
Yeah.
And I open up sometimes at 7 o'clock in the morning for these guys. And they're ready. They're ready to go.
Yeah.
And so we'll go and we'll go on. Sometimes I'll stay here till 3. Or a lot of times they're like, let's go to Alliance. So I'll close up the shop and get to go to Alliance. And I'll go to South, I get to go to South Knoxville, which is like a big deal for me because my pants are not skinny at all. You know what I'm saying? So, and I don't mountain bike.
You're
so
not
I'm
eating,
like this
you're not
novelty over
eating
there.
$8 tacos.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's great.
Know.
They're like, oh my God, look at this creature from another planet. And they're like, hey, what, you ride Baker's Creek? And I'm like, I like Baker's Streets of Bakersfield. That's a great song.
Yeah.
Or,
I've got a bakery next to me called Magpies.
I got a baker. There's all kinds of bakeries. So, and they're like, oh, isn't he quaint? He's just like, isn't he sweet? He's like a Furby.
Oh my God.
So I get to go over there. But Alliance, and that's true. And Malone has mentioned that to me before, too, is like these amazing guys. They go out and they ride and they're crazy. And they come in and they just start pounding these 8%ers like they're nothing. And then the next thing they're like, I got to go, Stacy.
At Rhythm and Blooms, just this, to keep it more evergreen, Rhythm and Blooms recently happened. And not one, I was like, oh my God, everyone is drunk. Yeah. And this is annoying as shit. Like, because... Okay, here's a little bit about me. I have sat and drank an entire bottle of whiskey or bourbon and not felt any effects. Yeah. I'm sure my BAC is crazy.
Oh, sure. But we're not getting in a car and driving. We're still smart about this.
No.
Yeah, right.
But I also know, and it's not one of those, I can take it. No, it's literally, had friends around me going, no, you were no signs, no nothing. Oh. Straight hands, like everything. Yeah. I was like, I'm not even seeing, like no effects the next day, no nothing. But it's just,
it's called alcoholism. I'm so proud of you.
My joke is I'm either awesome or I'm an alcoholic.
Right. No, and we're high-functioning alcoholics.
That's my T-shirt. I'm either an awesome or an alcoholic. But it's just, I think it's just, I'm a big dude, And
Yeah.
it's like I ate a shit ton of food before. Like
Yeah.
it's all that
Right.
chemistry. Like
Right. Well, your metabolism probably processes it different
Oh,
than
yeah.
most people. See, here's a strange little fact about me.
Yeah.
When I drink, I can't eat.
I have a hard time with beer and that.
Right, because if
Yeah.
I eat, then drinking stops for me.
Yeah.
So my wife's going to probably yell at me right now. She's probably screaming right
It's
now.
okay.
She's listening to this. She's, I'll drink on an empty stomach, and most people are like, are you stupid? You know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, because they're just like you. It's how the metabolism works. You
Yeah.
know, I may have had a good breakfast, and
Yeah.
my thing, as you could tell with this, with this gut, like I make love to my wife like a letterpress. It's at this
Oh
point.
my
it's
God.
just, but I can do that and still wake up the next morning and be like,
Yeah.
oh, let's go. All right.
Yeah.
Now that I get older, it gets different. But like if I drank a bottle,
Yeah.
boy,
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was one time I drank all but one shot. And I
Quitter.
told my friends, I was like, somehow in my mind, I feel like if I finish that,
It was
I'll
gonna be
all of a
bad.
sudden be drunk.
that's the one that's gonna
That's
tip,
gonna,
that's gonna tip
and so
the scales.
they live just 2 blocks from me. And I was like, I know literally I can drive home now.
Right.
Like I am. It's crazy, and I know it sounds crazy to people, but it's also if you look at me,
Right.
you got to know. Like
Yes, of
it's
course.
it's and I'm not being an asshole,
No,
but I was
of
like,
course not.
but I don't. I'm just gonna walk. Like it was like 1 a.m. I was like, I'm gonna just walk home.
Yeah.
I just don't.
Right.
It doesn't feel right to me, and I just walked home.
Well, yes.
It
Yeah.
could- and I
But you're a downtown. Well, you live across.
Yeah,
I know where
north,
you live,
yeah.
but it's not that.
No.
It's not that bad for you. I mean, who's going to bother you?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, no. Here I'm going to go into a repeating thing, and this will lead us in. I have a dog.
I try to look like Jack Torrance when I walk everywhere. That's the only because I can't fight. If I can't beat you with my words or wit, then I'm screwed. I have friends like you.
I got 2 things for you. So, I got three things. The Dale thing was I went over to her house and she said, I realized recently that you look how I act.
I love
and
it. I love it.
I act like you look. She was like, when you walk into a room, you kind of slide around to the side. You have to put a lot of people at ease.
I have noticed that about you.
I was like, yeah, I do.
I don't know. Do you know why you do that? Do you feel why? You
Leads
do
us
that?
to the next part.
Okay.
I have learned over my time in being a nerd, 45% of dudes are terrified of me. 45% of dudes want to fight me to prove they're a man, and then 10% are my friends and
But
don't
you're
give
such
a
a
shit.
beautiful person.
They don't give a
I
shit.
mean, it just size, it looks, it shouldn't matter, right?
I've watched tiny redneck dudes like
Hey, big boy.
size me up, and there was one guy. He was shit faced out in Maryville,
Just
and I
insecurities
almost
of
went up
people.
to him and was like, "Here's the problem. I am sober.
Yeah.
You are not.
Right.
I will throw you into the
Yeah.
road
Yeah.
because I'm also grew up on the east side and
Right.
I am mean when
I
I
mean-
want to be. And you're about to make me mean. Wait, you wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
Angry.
Yeah.
I agree.
But
I
it was one of
agree.
those that's like, because I'm just walking to my car, asshole. Like, I'm just walking to my car.
We never get out of the schoolyard.
But I will say, sometimes it works to my advantage.
Right.
There were 2 drunk people fighting in the old city one night, and I just walked over. I know. I just walked over and picked the guy up.
Yeah.
And the minute I picked him up off his feet, he immediately was like, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yes.
I'm so sorry.
There
I was
you
like,
go.
smart boy.
Yeah.
Smart boy. Now, his girlfriend got in my face.
Well, of course. They're the, yeah.
And I was just
Yeah.
like, and I just started
Always.
squeezing him tighter, and he was
Shut
like,
up.
honey, please stop. Honey,
Shut
please
up.
stop. Honey, please stop.
Isn't that always the case
Yeah.
that the girlfriend wants to get involved? And
I almost went, I'm going to pet the rabbit, George. I'm going to pet the rabbit.
rabbit. I could cuddle him and squeeze him and tug him.
So Doc
God bless him.
Doc was awesome. He called me Killer. Like, I collect nicknames. I walked in one day, he's like, how we doing tonight, Killer? I was like,
Yeah.
I love you, man.
He's
But
just-
when I was young and dumb, I was like, well, look at that guy. Anybody can kick his ass. And
No,
then later
He
on,
didn't
somebody's
have
like,
to.
oh, no, he
No,
was
no.
like special forces or
Yeah.
something. I was like, that guy? And they're like, yeah, oh,
Well,
yeah.
You know what made Doc so brilliant was that Doc didn't have to do anything.
Yeah.
Doc would talk to you as if your father would talk to you.
Oh.
And a lot of people, because of who Doc was, didn't want to disappoint Doc.
That's
So
awesome.
you get in and you met him and you had this wonderful gravitation to Doc as the house guy, as the door, the front, the sentinel at the gate, so to speak. And you get in there, and Doc would say something very personal to you, killer, or you know, something like that. Give you, and you're walking into a bar, because walking into a bar, first of all, is very intimidating for anybody. Unless you're, you know, me or you, because I walk in, I'm like, woo, let's go.
I don't give a shit.
Because I like that. I am that person. I need people. But walking into a bar, so Doc, when you walked into the bar, Doc eased it for you. Yeah. He gave you something, made you feel that this is, you're welcome here until you're not. Yeah. You know, and that's what it was. So you get in there, and if you didn't act a fool, then, you know, Doc would make a round and come up and see you again and remembered when you walked in the door and say, hey, how's everything going? But if you got out of hand a little bit, he'd be like, all right, you guys, you know how Doc would talk, you know, you all want to kind of chill out a little bit. Yeah. And you'd, you know, it's like being scolded by a parent. I'm only going to tell you this once, because the next time I got to come over, we're turning the car
around. Oh, God, they caught us. Oh, God, sorry. Right, we got to stop.
Let's cool down. I mean, but he'd know, because Doc has worked in this business. He worked in some of the great bars in Florida. He used to tell me about all the old Yankees that used to come in, you know, and I love the Yankees. And that's what we would talk about. And we would talk about the old days, about how bars used to run and how it used to be. And Doc did that. And it was such a wonderful thing. And it fit in that beautiful bar down there, you know. So I think a lot of people just didn't want to disappoint him. And so he didn't have to get anything.
Did you ever see him get?
No, I did not. No, I did not. I remember I saw him get mad. But, you know, the great thing, once again, as I said earlier about your clientele, the people in the bar taking care of it and policing it for you, if anything happened, I mean, there would be so many people on whomever just so Doc wouldn't have to move.
So there was an incident the other night at Rhythm and Blooms where I love now that they have the outside, where you can sit. Although I was sitting with a bunch of musicians, we were watching Southland and Hannah's, and I was just like, I don't understand any of those people. I don't understand that meat market mentality. Like, we were watching people, I was like, I don't get any of that. Right. But at that point, I saw Gina and one of the guys there.
Gina Truitt?
Yeah, who's amazing. Come chasing after these three guys, these three young guys.
Gina Truitt?
I was like, oh, shit, what's going on? And I'm sitting there, and I just immediately turned my seat. I was like, well, if she needs help, I'm going to stand up.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm going to stay here. But I've also been in enough fights to know I'm going to stay here until I'm going to be nice until it's time to not be nice.
She's
to quote,
the quintessential.
Yeah, and it was three guys who came up, and the little flower pots had like ripped up flower, something stupid. Just being dicks, just being young dicks. And they walked up, and one of them came up and started talking trash to her. And the guy who works there, I can't remember the guy's name, but I've seen him there forever. He's an older gentleman, has a goatee. He's one of the cooks or something. But I saw him, and he was like, Gina, just don't worry about it. Like, he was trying to talk her down, and she was like, no,
that's her house.
Yeah. And then I'm sitting there, and I just turned my chair, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to have to stand up here in a minute. And this is not going to be good.
Gino climbed all the way up top of somebody's head and found him into the ground like a nail, man.
But it was also, you talk about not snapping. I almost snapped at the bouncers across the street, because there were like three bouncers. I was like, hey, dumbasses, one of you needs to step over here.
She was by herself?
No, she was with the guy who worked there.
His backup in there. But Gina Truitt,
they weren't paying attention. And that was driving me nuts. I was like, guys, we're all a community here. Yeah. You three bouncers are not doing shit right now. Right. You need to be paying attention.
Right. If you're scared to bounce to do your job, then you're in the wrong job.
Yeah.
You know?
Whereas me, a customer, you talking about being, I was like, I was ready to stand up. I was like,
that's the community.
Yeah.
That's the community. And that's what a lot of idiots don't understand. It's not me you're dealing with. Yeah. It's the 16 other people in this room that you don't know. They're like velociraptors coming in from the side.
There was one, it was Pride last year, and we were sitting in John's cigar shop smoking a cigar, and this guy came in at noon already drunk. He looked homeless, but he was in there buying a cigar. Right. And he just started...
Cigarellos count as a cigar?
Sorry. Oh, my God. This is over. We're done. Black and Mild? You going to smoke a Black and Mild?
I don't know. These are questions.
Yeah. But he all of a sudden started cussing us. Oh. And I'm just sitting there kind of with my back to him. I'm looking, I was like, dude's a pretty big, wiry, tall dude, that's drunk as shit at noon on a Saturday. I was like, damn it, this is not going to end well. And John was outside, and I was like, oh, God, what do I do here?
Huh.
And my friends were kind of like, not John back at the guy,
Right.
but like, we were literally talking about barbecue. And the guy was like, we all shut the fuck up. And we were like,
Oh, what?
yeah. And my friend was like, who gets mad at talking about barbecue? Like, what the shit?
It usually calms people down.
Yeah. And then John walked back in, and he looked around, and he was like, he looked at the dude, and he's like, do we have a problem here? And the guy was like, they won't shut the fuck up like that. And he was like,
Oh, apparently we do.
yeah. He was just like, and then at that point, he stood up, and he looked at my friends, one of which is gay, and said, fuck pride, and started going off. And John was like,
that's when we all have a problem.
John was like, you're going to leave now.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, my friends looked at me, and they're like, you didn't. I was like, no, because the minute I say something or stand up, it goes to another level.
Yeah. Well, you know,
and that guy's going to go through the door.
Right.
Like,
but I think that's very, and I appreciate that as well.
Yeah.
Now, if the proprietor, the saloon keeper there or whatever is sitting there dealing with a problem,
yeah, no,
then because of who you are, then yes, you should just stay until it's needed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's very smart because yes, that could also escalate it.
Oh yeah. Oh,
very
for
badly.
sure.
So you have to figure out.
I went to Fulton. I've
Oh,
been
you
in.
know-
I've
I
been
know
in.
you
I've
know
been in a
what's
lot of
going on.
fights.
Yeah, I
I've
know
been
you know
in
what's
so
going
many
on.
fights.
Right.
It's like, no, I just know. And there's one.
Well, drunk idiots have no. There's no frame of reference, Donnie.
No. Oh no. There's been so many times where I've just de-escalated it by looking at somebody, almost like the dog just looking at the guy in the eye and going, "No, we're not going to do this." And they're like, all right, and then walk away. And I'm like, one of my friends, we did that at Moose's Music Hall.
Oh.
And this guy was acting like an asshole in front of all my friends, and he couldn't see the band. And I pushed the guy behind me, and I stood, and I just stared at the guy.
Yeah.
And the minute he made eye contact, he patted me on the chest and walked away. Wow. And two of my friends were like, that's the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. I was like,
well, yeah.
No, he just saw, we need to stop now.
No.
Yeah.
If I go to a concert with you, I want to sit on your shoulders like Stephen Wright. You know, Stephen Wright. That's what I want to do. Yeah. I'll sit in my age, so it's going to be like that. But, that's the whole thing. It's just, it's how, not everything has to be a real macho show. None of that. And I don't like it.
Yeah.
I think that, if I bark at somebody, once again, you sometimes some people you draw attention to.
Yeah.
And then you draw the bar's attention to, and then they stop.
Yeah.
And then they'll go. I don't care. Other people, you quietly talk to them because I try to do that more and say, hey, look, you're getting, I'm not going to serve you anymore. I'm going to put some water in front of you. And there's cues leading up to that point.
Yeah.
There's a water go down, then there's an upside down glass. And I don't want to tell all the, but most people who sit in the bars are like, all right, I'm getting kind of close. Let me order some water and stuff like that. But the ones that can get out of hand, that they're the ones you start, that's when I get loud.
Yeah.
And then you start bringing attention to it. And most of them won't match me as far as,
velocity.
Yeah, that's right. But then, once again, then most of the times, I got, my soccer or my friends in here, or or customers, I should say, all the friends in here that problems get taken care of quicker than they ever happen.
Oh yeah.
But here's the main thing. Here's the root of it, and I will tell you this: the root of it, is that you have experienced bartenders behind the bar that stop it before it even gets to a point to start.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So when a bartender behind the bar is monitored, because anybody can do this job. Anybody can make these drinks. It's how you manage the bar and the guest.
Right.
We're all friends here, but it's how you manage that guy. Is this in this? Because that's what we're doing back there. We're counting the computer. We're counting everybody's drinks.
Yeah.
We know exactly what you've had, even when you've already forgotten.
Yeah.
But a good bartender, how we slow you down, you won't even notice it.
Oh, yeah.
Right? We know how fast you're going to drink. You're going to sip on this. But we stop the problem before it even gets there so it doesn't happen.
Right.
So it doesn't happen. And that's...
It's experience
and experience and skill. I'm lucky enough, like I said earlier in the show here, that I have the had the privilege of working with some of the greatest people.
Yeah.
We don't answer our phone around here at this time of day, so if anybody's calling in, I do take requests.
Oh my God, he's gonna bust into "Carry On My Wayward Son."
Yeah. Oh, Kansas. I'll do a little Steely Dan before we do that.
Oh my God, here we go, the Steely Dan.
But it's been a good life. There's like I said, there's so many amazing things that have happened in this life and in this world, and I've been privileged to be around some of the best people in this business, and I was lucky to make good and have my own spot. And
right.
Have a fantastic partner in John Harbison, and it's been wonderful, and it's just sitting in my little dream. Yeah.
Well, and not to go back, but when you started the bar previously, and I saw you on opening day. Because I didn't know.
We won't mention that place.
No. But I didn't know you were there, and I passed by you, and I looked at you, just like, Brooklyn? And you were like,
hello.
And I think you turned around and you like, oh, you know me you actually know me.
There's a few out there.
And I was like, I looked around, and I was like, because Torbett was out. Were they playing that night?
I think Kelsey's Woods.
I think they were playing. And I was just looking around, I was like, oh, this place is going to be awesome. And
it was.
And I think
it was.
Aaron, somebody, Slocum and I, or somebody, it's probably Pointner. Yeah. We were out there. I was like, he was like, I worry about a bar in Fountain City. I was like, no, this is a neighborhood bar.
Yeah.
This is a neighborhood bar.
Well, that's how I ran it.
Yeah. That's as far as we'll go in that. But I was just like, it was almost like you're going back to worked with good people. I was like, oh no, this immediately has a stamp of approval.
Yeah.
From so many people because of the weight you brought to it.
Right.
Yeah. So the minute both of them, and then the minute you said you're opening this up, I was like, of course you are. This is going to be amazing. Like, this is not a brewery. This is going to be what it was. Well, this is a neighborhood bar.
I built this bar and I hope this doesn't sound, because I live in a house of women, okay? Oh and I am a champion of all women's causes. Yeah. That's just who I am. Right? Yeah. Or my daughter and wife will kill me if there's any other. So, but I really did build this bar for women.
Okay.
And I hope that's okay to say. I'm really trying not to be any, because I hear so many women tell me that, not that I know a lot of women, honey, it's just people in the
Oh my God. Here we go.
I hear a lot of ladies tell me that
we
they're
like, cut all this out.
Sometimes I don't want a beer. Sometimes I would love to have a glass of wine or a little coulis or a little cocktail, just whatever, And so that's what I thought. Oh man, and not disparaging about these wonderful, beautiful breweries up and down here, but that's why I did that. I wanted to put a nice place. It's still a dive bar.
Yeah.
She's just an older.
Yeah.
We're all older now, so we want a little nicer. But I just built the place so we can sit in here and reminisce of what it was like, what this whole conversations that we're talking about is what it was like when you used to sit in a real neighborhood bar and you engaged in the bartenders and they knew you knew something about them and you were taken care of. You knew nobody's going to bother you and it's going to be fine and no drunk idiot's going to hit on your girlfriend or your wife because we're going to take care of that.
Yeah.
And everybody's good. And you know what I'm saying. It's just that, I wanted that to be geared around that, and I wanted a little bit of the New York, I wanted a little bit of the quintessential Knoxville, and I wanted people to come in here and feel like it was a time machine for them.
Oh yeah.
I wanted them to come in here, feel like they're on a little mini vacation, and then walk outside my door when they're done and feel like, hey, I'm back home.
Yeah, you saying that, I'm going to have to look up, because I went to a bar in Brooklyn. This is going to drive me nuts.
Now, I got that nickname.
I know.
20 years ago from Mary Helen. And I was born in Brooklyn, lived in Port Jefferson, Long Island. And everybody gets confused with this. But I graduated from Morristown West High School.
Oh, my God. So you wouldn't know a bar. There's a bar called Freddie's Bar that was cash only, that we sat in, and we went out back. They had an out back area that's about as big as what you have here, but they had the sound of crickets chirping going.
Oh, jeez.
And there was a guy, like very light, very subtle, and there was a guy that was literally my friend's best friend's husband, which sounds very Southern.
Made up.
It sounds Southern. But he and his brother were born in Mexico, moved to New York, became cooks and cooks and then made their way up to chefs. Great
Beautiful.
guys.
Great.
But they came and they sat, and the guy was just like, what the hell's up with this noise? I was like, dude, this is the South, man. This
It's
cicadas.
beautiful.
Or,
Right.
I was like, it puts you at ease. It's calming.
Yeah.
And he's like, I just don't like it.
For a New Yorker, it's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like an invasion.
So we kept
Not me. I go
we
to
kept
sleep with
talking.
that, yeah.
He also couldn't get over the fact that I said words like "reckon" and "fixin' to," and he kept trying to say it. And every time he said it, his brother looked at him and said, "You're a dumbass." Yeah. So we went and we bounced around to a bunch of different places, but we came back to the bar at the end of the night, and we're sitting there, and it was quiet for a minute, and he was like, I actually like this a lot. I was like, yeah, welcome to our world.
Yeah.
I was like, we set it out on our decks or on our
I
porches.
love that idea. I may try that.
Yeah.
I wonder. Just to kind of bleed out the city, that.
Yeah.
I still go to sleep, and my wife still, when I hear sirens and police cars, it puts me right to sleep.
That's
But
at
I
Morristown
also-
West, right?
Yeah.
That's at Morristown.
That's at more. You get a lot of that in
Yeah.
Morristown. I love that idea. I tell you another great bar if you ever go. And I can't for the life of me tell you where it's at right now in the city. It's in Manhattan, but it's called the Cannibal.
The Cannibal.
And it's right up your alley.
I went to one.
yeah.
I found out one recently had shut down that I liked called Pony.
The Pony Bar.
Yeah, it closed.
Oh, that's up towards Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah,
Yeah, it closed.
that's
I
what.
got to sit in that bar. They had 2 locations. That's a great bar.
That's where that and a bar in Los Angeles is where the app Untapped was created.
That's right. Yes,
Yeah.
that is true.
Because I was
yeah.
like, they were like, you get a special badge. I was like,
went
I'm
there to
go-
get the badge. I have the badge. Yeah.
Yeah.
I talked to the owner. I have a picture of talking to the owner and the bar guests there. And so, the Pony Bar. And they closed down. I didn't.
I'm going to look that up
Yeah.
again just to make sure I'm not wrong.
Wow. I tell you another place. If you go, it's next to the Flatiron Building. It's right up the street from it in Lydia's Italy. Italy.
This is saying it's open.
Oh, okay, good.
I was going to say,
It's too popular.
where in the hell did I see that? What was the
In upstairs on Italy. Oh, it's the Cannibal.
the Cannibal? Okay.
The Cannibal. They had there was a roses are red, bacon are red, poems are hard, bacon.
Oh my God.
And all they did was meat and beer, like charcuterie meat.
Okay.
And like they had High Life in there, and I was like, oh my God, I suck your dick. That's good shit right
It's
there.
closed.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Well, shit, that's why.
It looks cool. Oh my God, yeah.
It was
okay.
great. It was an awesome, awesome bar.
So I have a bookmarks within Yelp that are places I need to go or want to go.
Well, Italy, I'm sorry. Lydia,
I have been to Italy.
all the way to the top with the
Yes.
3 casks.
Yeah.
So they had a cast up there, and Missy, my wife, was very not very proficient with the 11%ers.
Oh.
Who is? And there was a beer up there, and we just had our daughter, and we got away from a mom and dad trip, and we went up there and we sat, and these are big, gigantic casks.
It's on the rooftop.
It's on the rooftop,
Yeah.
right? And they're pulling it off these beer engines, off the
Yeah.
British beer engines. And so they pour about 10 ounces. And the name of this beer was Giuseppina, which that's my
Okay.
daughter's name. It's in Italian. It's Josephine.
Okay.
And so they poured Missy this beer. Missy's, I think it was, honey, I don't remember. It was your birthday, I think. I get confused. But Missy drank this thing.
Yeah.
And the next thing I know, I've got...
So her head's on the bar.
I'm like,
her head's
what
on the bar.
happened? Because she's, my wife is she doesn't drink a lot, but she's pretty good.
She can handle.
She can handle her wine and stuff like that, and she's a amazing tailgater.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But she hit this 11%er, and she was not used to this stuff.
Yeah.
And man, oh my God.
Yeah.
I was holding her
Oh, my
up
God.
and trying to. Oh, it was pretty funny though.
So the restaurant that was up there, Il Burrito
Il
or what?
Burrito,
Yeah. So the chef up there is now the chef at Rebel Kitchen. Preston.
Shut the front door. I had
Yeah.
no idea.
Preston. He's a friend of. Do you
I
know?
know. Wait. I know Preston.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah. You know Jody and Russell. Jody Manross.
Oh, of course.
So Russell and him worked in kitchens together up there, and he got Preston and his wife to move down here.
Preston's wife
Was the bar manager
is
there?
a bar manager who does. She was originally gonna start with me,
Oh, okay.
and then she went into her photography career, which
Yeah.
she takes beautiful pictures. She took beautiful pictures of my family, so
Nice.
she does everything. And does she still work at Amelia's?
That I don't know.
Okay, she's
But Preston, yeah, I bumped into him the
amazing.
other day.
They're great great people.
And he's a hell of a chef.
Oh,
but the
my
funniest
God.
thing is these long table dinners they do in the Old City. Matt with a pretentious glass.
I want to do that.
He
I get invited to cool stuff like that.
how
Well, I
dollar
opened
dollar
a bar.
bill.
You know how they say you get a? Do you know how they say you get a small, wealthy, a small wealth
Yeah,
is to have a big wealth and open up a bar. So yeah, I mean that's
they
fortune.
But Matt said that Preston was the first chef in all the years they've been doing that actually walked down there and was like, okay, what beer are you making? And I'm going to tailor. And he did this crazy thing. And Matt was like, every other one has just been like, oh, we're just going to cook this, just pair it with whatever beer. And like Preston used the hops. Like it was crazy. And I told Preston that the other day and he was like, oh, that means a lot. I was like, yeah, dude.
Yeah,
it was like, and he was going down to talk to Matt and I was like, tell him I told you because
isn't it amazing though with the transformation in this town, the like Preston, like Holly Hambright.
Oh yeah,
I mean, and though she's been doing this forever, I mean the amount of these
it's
amazing
insane.
food
Yeah.
that comes out in this town it's mind blowing. I love it because I feel like I remember years ago when you used to sit in this town and people would be like, I am so bored.
Yeah,
And I used to say, okay, what is it that you want to do?
Yeah.
And the number one answer would be, I don't know.
yeah.
Now when I hear it, I'm like, you're definitely not trying hard enough.
No.
Because you cannot throw a stone in this town without finding something fun to do.
And you've even, in talking about food, you've got, just within like a mile of one another, you've got Brian at Adopo doing one thing with pizza.
Jesus Christ.
And then you have Dave out at Pizzeria Nora doing something completely different.
That's like Brooklyn pizza.
That's the
that
hidden.
guy is
That's
doing.
the hidden gem.
Oh
That's
my
the hidden
God!
gem.
I don't want. I hate to say this, Dave, if you listen. I don't want nobody to know because I love going in there and just. It's amazing.
And both of them
Yeah.
can still exist because
Yeah.
they're both amazing. And
And he changed his whole.
yeah,
He was like, you know what? I'm done
The
with
sandwich
this.
shop was
I'm gonna do-
amazing.
I miss him.
yeah.
But he comes in and he goes, I mean, all of a sudden, it's like he just changes his whole his game plan
Yeah.
and makes something else amazing. It's great. God bless him.
I was out of town when he had the big mixer delivered. He was like, whoever can help me lift this thing and put it in there, I'll give him free pizza. And I was like, why do I have to be out of town? I want free pizza. It's going to be good.
I agree.
But yeah, Brian at Adopo, what he's doing down there is amazing because he is very like the customers who come in are very important to him. Like he was telling me the other day, he was like, I hate when. Sorry, Brian. He was like, I hate when people were to go because I want you to come in here and sit and eat
Well,
and
Brian
enjoy.
trained in Italy.
Oh, he did.
I may not be.
Maybe
I thought
so.
He did.
I'm
I thought
assuming
they
his pizza's
because when I
unbelievable.
sit in Adopo,
Yeah.
it is like I'm sitting in Italy. The way they tailor it out, the way it all gets metered out, and the vibe in there, it's gorgeous.
It's amazing.
So anytime I get a chance to go in there, it's like, yes, are you kidding me? This is like sitting in Italy for me because he understands the whole ambiance and how food is approached in the Italian way. Amelia's is the same way.
Yeah, Matt.
What Matt Gallagher's doing up there is, as far I know, everybody. I'm very sad to hear Naples closed, and I know that was an institution. But if you look at real Italian food, and I'm nothing against it.
I'm
Naples is
laughing because
beautiful.
you're going to make fun of me for my favorite.
No,
place in
look,
town.
hey, Chef Boyardee, that's your thing.
No.
Like, I grew up in a very Italian household. A Sicilian.
Louis is my.
Well, hey, that's an institution.
Louis but if you didn't grow up on it, I understand not liking it. But it's Italian food made by a Greek man.
It's beautiful, though. Hey, look, Harvey's Pizza.
Yeah, Harvey's Pizza.
There's another one. I mean, beautiful food. You know what I'm saying? But
Amelia.
what I'm like, Amelia is great.
Yeah.
But nothing. I'm not. Nothing is saying negative about any of these establishments. They're beautiful things. It's just. I'm a real pain in the ass when among other things, I'm sure people are listening. They're like, you're more than that, you cocksucker.
No comment. No.
So, but it's just how it is, and I think it's great. But what the food's going on in this town is beautiful.
It's still blowing my mind that within this, I figured it up, it's a mile and a quarter. There's going to be 9 breweries. And it kind of blows my mind.
On Central?
I'll run through them. Crafty, and then there's going to be a new place called Zool in Emory Place.
Oh, really?
Yes.
John Sanders' old place across, is that right? No, I'm sorry. I got lost there. Never mind.
Yeah, in Emory Place.
I'm going to start drinking now.
Oh, God. Zool, you have Next Level.
Next Level. Mm-hmm.
You have whenever Flowerhead opens up across here.
That's been forever.
I know.
Yeah.
Elkmont, Schultzbrow, Elst.
Beautiful.
Fanatic, and then the Bridge Sour place that's going into the old Modern Studio.
Oh, that's
so
right.
That's
I didn't
9.
know that. Really?
But it's also 9 with 9 distinct styles.
Yes.
That's what blows my mind. It's like, and everybody's like, well, we're about to hit a bust. So it's like, no, we're not, because all of those breweries work together, and all of those breweries put their beer in restaurants like Central Depot or like here, to where that's where they're sustaining. Their breweries are doing, like Schultzbrau's brewery does killer, and Elkmont does killer.
Yeah.
But some of the other ones, it's like, no, they ship them out.
Well, I have 4 beers of Elst on right now.
Yeah.
You know, because they're beautiful people.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, and they're like, hey, Brooke, can you?
Yeah.
Sure I can. You're in the neighborhood, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I put Elkmont on.
And Hexagon.
And Hexagon. Well, of course. That's the last one down on that street.
Yeah.
So there's actually going to be, there's 10.
There's 10, but then if you count Last Days of Autumn, like just within an area.
Oh, Last Days. Oh, my God. Yeah. Right. I mean, what's going on over there.
Yeah.
Oh, and you want to talk about beautiful people, too.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
I didn't realize all the things he does with, like, the shrimp boils and the Sunday football things. But he's a big Packers fan, and I'm a Bears fan.
Well, we
and they're
all
like,
can't be winners, can we?
Oh, trust me. I know that over the last few years. But they were like, oh, yeah, Bears fans are welcome, too. I was like, that's cool. I hope so.
Well, not to name it since we're naming names. And, then you got Huck's over at Balter.
Yeah.
And that brew. And you've got with that food, what he does. Now, I saw Huck's. This is an amazing Huck's. If you're there, this was a really cool thing for me. I saw Huck's, and he was in our Kroger in Fountain City.
Okay.
And this was really cool for me because it kind of got me into the social. I understood how social media worked a little bit better because I'm a little Luddite when it comes to some of this. But no, this is really cool because I saw Huck's there, and you see somebody, and you're like, "Hey, chef, how are you?" It's really cool, and we're sitting there talking, and we're shopping, we're walking around, and I'm watching him how he picks out stuff, and he's like, "I said, what do you got there, Huck's? What are you doing?" And he says, "Well, I got some shrimp and yada yada. I don't know what he's got all this beautiful stuff in his basket there." And he goes, "I thought I'd take this home, cook it up, and see if I like it. Then I'll see if I bring it to the shop."
Yeah.
That night, get home, getting in bed, lay down, look at the social media. There's the picture, all nice.
Oh, my
Huck's got it
God.
right. It's all nice. 2 days later, go on the Balter. Boom.
There it is.
Now he's come in and get this. And I was like, oh, my God, I saw that from start to finish.
Oh,
to
my
the
God.
public. And it was like I felt like I just,
I saw that happen a few times with Gallagher.
Oh, wow.
And then I would bump into him at farmer's market,
Right.
and then you'd see some special on the menu that night. It's like, oh, shit, I saw him buy this.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's like,
well, I'm sorry that, Huck's wasn't at the farmer's market. It's not as sustainable. But,
No.
You could go to Kroger and make good shit, too. you
yeah.
know?
No, but that was when I saw him at the farmer's market. That's the first time I had thought about it. And I almost said to him, I was like, why are you not putting this on social media? I was like, because the farmer's market people want to hear that, too.
Oh, they want to see that. Of
Yeah.
course. Of
Yeah.
course. I agree. And I love that.
Not crapping on that. I'm just like, but it's the same
I
thing.
guess my story was shit. Sorry, Hugs.
Here we go. All right, you're done. Sorry. You're disappointing me.
All right.
But no, I think that's the first place I saw it, too, to where it was like, all right, Miyagi-san, trying to catch flies over there.
Well, my place is clean.
Yeah. I brought it in with me. That's part of the accoutrement that I bring with me. It's one fly, a single fly.
A single fly.
But yeah, I just mean I love seeing people supporting other people. I think
course.
that's what I love. Yeah. And
that
we're
goes
great
back,
about that here in
I
town.
think Knoxville is amazing about that.
Yeah.
I think it is truly amazing. We all have businesses to run. We all have to pay our bills.
Yeah.
But I have always seen this wonderful sense of support.
Yeah.
What can I do?
Yeah.
What can we do?
Yeah.
What do we need to do?
Yeah.
And it's overwhelming, and it's a beautiful thing.
There's I can't see, so I'm just going to assume
My
that it's
business
not
partner,
a
John Harbson,
ghost over there.
Harb. we have a ghost. I still
the bartender from The Shining is back there.
Oh, I told you that.
I know. Yeah.
I think Ed Court still comes around here. And
Oh my
sometimes,
God!
I'm always like, Ed, leave it alone.
Yeah.
That's what made me want to be a bartender. Was the bartender
from The Shining? Yeah.
You asked to get the Jack Daniels, and I remember watching. This is why it's one of my favorite movies. And I said, when I watched him pour in The Shining, if you notice in The Shining, Lloyd is not ever looking at Jack. He's looking really straight ahead. But when he pours it from that the spout, and the way it poured, it made such an impression on me as a young kid because it was perfect.
Yeah.
And I think I have terrible OCD sometimes, so it really hit me.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, I always wanted to do that.
Yeah.
So anytime anybody asked me for a Jack, like that day you did meet, say, Lloyd, how's my credit in this place? I seem to be a little light. I always try to pour it exactly like he does.
Yeah.
In The Shining, and that's how it really always stuck in my brain.
God.
So when I first was asked if I wanted to do this job, that's immediately what I thought about.
Have you ever looked up like his outfit? That should be your Halloween thing.
Oh, it's.
Oh, have you done that before?
No, I haven't, but I do have the axe.
Okay. Oh, I didn't mean Jack. I meant Lloyd.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Good Lord. I don't want to see you in here with a typewriter one day going crazy.
Oh, my God. That's. I'll look at Lloyd. Yes, that might be better. Yeah. I don't have the hair for it.
Oh, my God.
Lloyd is the same guy that was in Blade Runner that got his eyes squeezed out by Rutger Hauer in the top of
was he really?
Tyrell. Yeah, that's Lloyd.
That's
How
right.
about that?
Yeah. Yeah. There's your factoid. Not to go dour, but a friend of mine and I have these marketing meetings. Mm-hmm. I'm doing air quotes.
Okay.
Where we'll just meet and hang out for a bunch of hours, usually over coffee in the morning or donuts.
Right. That required air quotes?
Yeah, no, the marketing part of it.
Okay.
Is. Marketing part. But he co-owns Refill Coffee Cart.
Mm-hmm.
And he's another one that he loves going out and supporting other businesses. Mm-hmm. He, like, when it comes to coffee, like him and Kim at It's Also Yummy have worked on these breakfasts together. Like, he's worked with all these different people. But there was one certain person in town who owned a business that would always complain about nobody coming to their business. But they never went to any other businesses.
Yeah.
And he was, and my friend is a Christian and one of the nicest people I've ever met. But he essentially one day was just like, screw that guy. He's like, screw that guy. Because he's not helping anybody else.
Right.
And everybody else posts about loving that place, but he's not supporting anybody else.
Right.
That ain't right.
It's not. It's not. And I always feel selfish about myself. And I've mentioned this to Harv. I said we need to get out more, but we've only been open for this is our first year, so it takes a little more. But now I'm getting to the point where I'm like I need to go back to Central, back up here, and just sit, because when you're here, you really are always on.
Right.
You're always working and something like that. Now it's great because I remember telling Will down there, it's like, look, we'll get started. I'll be back. Yeah. Because I said every good barman or barkeeper always has their secondary bar where they go and just sit and just not have to worry about it. Just drink and read the paper and talk to other people and talk to other barmen and barwomen that we can figure out what's going on around town. That's how we get all.
Well, I remember when Corner BP was open.
Oh yeah.
Whenever other bars closed, everyone would just shuffle in there. Yeah. So I'd be in there at 2 or 3 in the morning. Well, they're gone, so I don't feel bad for telling them.
It's all right.
But we'd sit around till 4 or 5 in the morning, sitting there drinking beer because everybody. It was like a third shift came through. Yeah, and it was awesome.
That's what Manhattan's was. Manhattan's was the place you started and the place you finished up.
Yeah,
there would be several times we'd come out.
Yeah.
With the sun up, and you're like, it's like Nosferatu. So.
I saw Will at Jig and Reel with one of his other bartenders, and I was like, what are you doing here? He's like, well, we just closed, and we need to wind down.
Decompress.
Yeah.
I have not been in Jig and Reel since it changed.
Oh, it's still.
I take that back. I did a Doc's last night there.
Oh, you mean since it became Jig and Reel?
No, I did Doc's last night when he retired night.
Yeah.
And I did a celebrity bartend there.
Okay.
And I was behind the bar for like 25 minutes
Yeah.
because somebody was kind of snotty to me, and I was like, "You can go fuck yourself." And
they were like, "We don't do
and
that
then,
here."
I think who was it? At Trailhead, Joe Jennings was behind the bar. And he's
Yeah.
like, "Hey, Brooke, why don't you grab a High Life?" And I was like, "Okay, Joe."
See ya.
He's like, "God damn it, man!" I was like, "I wouldn't put up with that bullshit."
Oh my God.
Once again, like I said earlier in our conversation, that it's given me so much.
Yeah.
These places have given me so much.
Yeah.
That when I walked in there, and Doc took me around and showed me all the changes, and I cried.
Yeah.
From one end to
Yeah.
the whole circle, back to the door, and I remember Doc putting his arm around me and goes, "She's still the same. She's still beautiful.
Yeah.
She's just, it was like, it was like your first dog. You
Yeah.
get it." And you get it with your girlfriend or your wife, and that dog knew you as kids, and it knew you as a couple, and it knew you as parents, and
Right.
and then it passes, and
Yeah.
it's like an era dies,
Right.
and it takes something. It's a part
Yeah.
of you going, and so she's gorgeous down there. But what makes it so wonderful is that there's two people that I know personally that still work down there.
Oh, okay.
And that's Gina Truitt.
Yeah.
That I think she's the GM or
She's the
assistant
GM.
And V-Ray, Vanessa.
I'd probably
think
know her
she's
if I
still
saw her.
Vanessa's-
Yeah.
I think she's one of her 900 other jobs. that
Oh,
she
my
does.
God.
But Vanessa's still down there, and that's part of that old troupe that's still down there. And I love that. But and Gina's told me so many times, she says, would you just shut up
Yeah.
and let me take you back in here and just sit down, and
Yeah.
we'll cry together if we have to, but just relax. And me, I'm.
Well, that's one thing. God love Randy and all he's doing, and yada yada yada.
Yeah.
I miss the back room. Like I never got to experience Lucille's.
Yeah, but
But
the back room was Blair's.
The
That
black
was his-
room, the back room,
Yeah.
because that's where all the musicians hung out.
Oh yeah,
like I've
that
hung out.
was the green room.
I've hung out in there with Dawn, with Tim, with everybody.
yeah.
Would always hang out in there, and the damn floors would bow and
the bathroom with the shower in it.
Yeah.
Why?
yeah. But that was also, now he told me this story. I don't know if it's true. The bartender in there told me that was the first place to have Bullet when they restarted. Said the guy who restarted Bullet, the guy in the family, was going from essentially bar to bar, and he brought it in there. And that's the first place I ever had Bullet before you could ever buy it in stores around town.
I don't know about that.
This was
That
early
sounds-
2000s, like
that's
2001,
probably right.
2002.
Hey, I remember when we had Pappy Van Winkle for $7.
Oh, my God. Jeez.
Nobody would want it. Nobody wanted it.
That's crazy.
At the first start, and everybody was like, "What the hell?" Yeah.
Do you have it in here?
No, we don't.
Thank
we have to
God.
get that has to get allocated to you. You have to pour that line for so long before you even get considered. And one day I hope to have it in here, but I can't afford that shit.
It's overrated. I can't.
Yeah, well, that's what whiskey does. That's what bourbons do.
I know. There's a buddy of mine that has more money than sense, apparently.
Right.
He's awesome. He's
You
an
wanna
awesome
buy-
friend to have. It's the best kind of friend to
That's a
have.
good
It's like
friend to have.
you
That's
walk
true.
into his wine cellar and it's massive and it's floor to ceiling. And he's like, "Yeah, I just buy cases of stuff I like." It's like, cool. He's like, "I got some Pappy 20-year. Let's go drink it." And then he pours me
Like a
3
shot.
fingers.
Yeah.
3 fingers.
Yeah.
And of my fingers.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was just like, "Gee, dude, that's
Can I get his number?
yeah." I was like,
Why can't you
"Dude,
take
that's
me to
too much."
places?
And he did that.
Wow.
Oh, he lives. If you get off on the Hardin
I
Valley
can
exit off of
imagine.
Pellissippi,
Yeah.
you still have another 20 minutes till
Oh,
you get to his
God
house.
bless. Well, good
yeah.
for him.
Yeah.
Good for him.
And so he pours it, and I was like, "Dude, that's too much, man." I'm looking at it going, "That's like $300
I
worth."
guess
of
he wants you to stay around for a
yeah.
minute. Have a
so,
conversation.
So I drink it, and he was like, "What do you think?" I was like, "Can I be?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "I don't." And he was like, "No, that's why you got that much. It's not very good. I'm ready to empty this and put the bottle on the shelf." I was
Is
like,
that
I was like,
right?
"Oh my
Oh,
God."
there was a choice
It was
behind it.
20-year. And it was just like, now I've heard once it's 25 years. I was like, at that
Really?
point.
5 years makes the difference?
Who gives a shit?
I
at
don't
that
know.
point, at that
You know what I like? I like Four Roses.
4 Roses.
I'm
is
telling
good.
you, I'm a. I
Basil
drink like-
Haynes. Basil
I love.
Haynes.
I have Basil Eagle Rare. I tell you what's really good, and I don't know if you've tried it. Is that Stranahan's
I have
from
tried Stranahan.
California? It's
From
from
Colorado.
Colorado whiskey, and
Yeah.
they have the Diamond Peak series, which
Yeah.
is really good.
It's
Yeah.
a little too strong for me. I think it's the bite or whatever.
Well,
it's
I'm a
called.
Scotch man, but I drink like somebody's grandfather. I'm a J&B and soda and Doers and soda.
I've never gotten into Scotch.
Yeah, that's what I drink. I really drink like your grandfather, and I tell stories like I remember 20 years ago.
Well, there were one of the last times I was in here. There was somebody else working behind the bar, and you were just hanging out. And I remember turning around to you, and I go, dude, you got to close your ears because I'm about to order something. And I ordered like a Jack and Ginger. I was like, please don't listen to this. You're going to judge me.
Did I
You're
say
gonna
anything?
No.
See, I was drunk.
No. I was like, you're going to judge me so hard for this. But it's like,
good.
During the summertime, a Cuba Libre or Jack and Ginger
why
is the absolute best.
I'm not gonna. This
I
is
know.
when
I just like giving you hell.
I give shit is when somebody's like, "Can I get a Lagavulin with like a cup of ice?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Are you? Why? What do you make it? You're gonna turn it cloudy?"
Yeah.
And what's the guy? I haven't met him, but I heard he's wonderful. The guy at Chicken Reel is the Irish kid or the what's his name? Do you know
I don't know his name.
I've got to meet him.
Yeah.
I've heard one. He's like the quintessential.
Yeah.
Know-it-all right there for that. And so I've heard certain things with him. And so I'm like, that's how you do it. You put you put a little drop of water in it, and that's all you need. You know, sometimes I put a little flake of ice. If the cheaper the scotch, the bigger the cube, basically.
Yeah.
The better the scotch, just water, That's all. Just to open it up. That's it. Or just wet the glass.
If whatever you said about making a bar for women's I'm gonna blow past that by imitating somebody when I say this.
Okay.
I can never remember his name. Guy at Suttrie's, tall, skinny guy with curly hair.
Rick Bedell.
Rick. Why can I never remember
that's
his?
Mike Bedell's brother, Rick.
Is it really?
Both of them were in my wedding.
Oh my God. Rick, and I think I told him this later. I was like, dude, the hardest I've ever laughed in a bar.
Oh, is
you.
Oh, he's so funny.
I was sitting at the end of the bar just waiting on a friend for something. I was just sitting down there drinking a beer in Suttrie's because you drink beer in Suttrie's.
Oh, yeah, you do. Yeah.
And these two young women walked up, and I'm going to do an impersonation. I swear to God, it's accurate.
Well, he's a handsome fella. A lot of the women fawn over this guy.
This is not.
Oh, okay.
No. And I'm sitting there, and they walk up, and one of the girls looks at him and goes, we would like a fuck me gently, and we're going to split it. And
what?
He looked at them, and he was like, we don't serve that in here.
That sounds just like him.
And he was like, you need to figure out something else.
You need to figure it out.
And as he turned around, he was like, you motherfucker, like into the sink.
Oh,
he
you
was
should
unleashing a torrent of cuss words. And I'm sitting there closer, and I just hear him, you motherfucker,
That's
you
right.
fucking asshole. You just, and he turned around, and they didn't hear it. And I'm sitting there like, dying, dying.
But that's the problem.
Dying. And so about 2 minutes later, he comes back, and he's like, have you decided? And they're like, we like a cranberry vodka, and we'll split it. Like that.
Oh, my God.
And he went, son of a bitch.
Oh,
turned around
my
and made him a
God.
cranberry vodka, gave it to me. He's like, that'll be $8.
I made one and put 2 straws in there.
But he just, no, that's what he did.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
But it was just so funny. He was like,
and they
son
probably
of a bitch.
sucked it down as fast as they could.
Oh, no, they went around and just
my
petitely.
God.
And I'm sitting there drinking my beer, and I'm just dying. So an hour later, when it was time for me to leave, he was like, are you good? Do you need another beer? Do you need a timeout? I was like, I would like a slippery nipple.
A slippery nipple.
And I'm going to split it.
I'm going to split it. You want to split it?
He had already forgot. He didn't get it. I was like, you dick.
Yeah.
He's like, you dick.
It's Rick.
He's
He's pickled like the rest of us.
He'd already moved on. And I was
He's
just
already
like,
done. And that's how we have to
I
in that business, in this business, you have to compartmentalize it.
Yeah.
You just have to be like, all right, you know what? This happened. Fuck yourself.
Yeah.
I'm done. Just idiots.
Yeah.
All right, next, let's go.
But it was just so
It'll ruin your whole night.
That's still, and I think I told him later, I was like, dude, that's the hardest I've quietly laughed because I couldn't I couldn't like, you all are idiots, like at them because they were very attractive.
Oh my God.
And I'm a single man, so I was like, you all drink your fuck me gently or whatever you called it.
I have I don't know.
Idea.
I go look it up and that's it. So somebody asked me for something like, I'm like,
went, kids.
Yeah.
You drink beer in here. If you want that shit, go down the street.
You know what?
Don't.
And I feel bad because those guys, Suttrie's, once again, has some of the best bartenders in town.
Yeah.
Right? And I had the privilege of working with those guys for years and years and years. And the problem is that sometimes I hear that, a lot of those young kids, not the drinkers like us who come in there and frequent that bar, and but it's that they come in there and they get the ramen bowl with a glass of water.
Oh God!
And that is a lot of them, and it's frustrating.
Yeah,
I mean, good for them, for the business side standpoint. I don't give a shit. I'm pushing this stuff out.
Yeah.
And it's great, and they just had their baby. Anne did. And, it's beautiful.
Nice.
But God bless them, and we wish them all the best and happiness in the world of parenting. It's a nightmare run. And so, too late.
This is the point when he starts breaking down in the podcast.
But that's what. Hey kids, if you're out there, get a ramen bowl and something to drink. And besides water.
Have you heard what Peter Kern has done?
No.
They actually have a list up there now to where it's like you have to wear pants when you come in here. Like it's all this stuff because they were getting overrun with kids coming in.
College kids.
Kids coming
against
in.
Them,
but they're 21 and they're ordering fireball shots and acting like assholes.
Yeah, and that's
they're
the problem.
like, this is not the place we want to run.
No. But when you live in a college town, it's going to be... the Strip is what it is, whereas what it used to be.
Well,
it's not.
They used to stay on the Strip,
right?
But because there wasn't a downtown.
Well, then once again, and that goes back another what we touched earlier today.
Yeah,
social media has changed the lines of because now I want to be a part of that. I want to look this, and I want to look more adult and get an adult drink because mom and dad are paying for it, but I'm not going to act it.
No.
I'm not going to act it. But I'm far enough away that I don't. We don't get that.
Yeah,
we don't get a lot of that.
Yours
over
is
here.
Neighborhood.
Yeah, and a lot of the young kids when they come in here, they get real quick educated.
Oh.
Yeah, especially if I'm in here too. I'm like, hey, douchebag.
Yeah,
this is probably not the fucking place you want to be messing around in. Yeah.
I'm gonna tell one of John's Stansel's stories. He said one of the guys in the Jig and Reel was telling this story about how these three young guys walked in, laid a 20 across the bar, and they're like, 3 of your finest scotches.
Oh, really?
And the guy poured it back. He was like, "This would not buy one of
those."
He's like, "Let's look at this again and come back." Yeah,
this is $400.
yeah.
So we need a couple of more.
But
of those
just the sliding of 20, 3 of your finest scotches.
Yes.
Not how that works.
No, it's people.
Yeah,
they just not people, but just kids. They we all have to start somewhere, but these kids are starting in the wrong bars. You know what I'm saying? Get your education down there on the Strip. Yeah. I've never worked on the Strip, but I've heard hundreds. I was told by some of those great bartenders that I mentioned earlier that there is no way I would last a day on the Strip.
Oh, no.
I would be,
Oh, you talk about
Shining Part 2 for me.
I say I wasn't the head on the bar, but I was this.
Yeah.
At a show at Moose's, and it wasn't from drinking because I don't really drink when I go to shows.
Right.
It was dehydration and exhaustion, and I was just down there, and I looked at the bartender. I was like, could hardly talk.
Yeah.
It was just at one of those summer shows where it was hot as shit in there.
Yeah.
And I was just like, can I please just have a water?
Yeah.
And the guy was like, oh, hell yeah. He just kept feeding me water. He was, and I was, because I literally passed out standing up and hit my head on just from dehydration from getting in the pit and beating the shit out of people. Because I'm classy. But he just looked at me and he was like, he felt pity for me. Thank God.
Well, I mean, that's really those bartenders down there, and those are some trenches.
Yeah,
those are trenches down there.
But I don't think there's that many bars out there anymore.
I don't know. I can't tell you. I drove through the Strip last year sometime, maybe the summer of last year, and they did those medians. I didn't realize that they did that. And I find this quite funny because they did these little like they're doing here on Central here.
Right.
But they were half of them were all run over or run through, and all the vegetation and flowers were all.
One of my buddies who's a firefighter said they didn't take that into account.
Oh,
and like buses and and stuff like that can't get through.
You
there.
Can't. Yeah, it was.
And they're like, whoever the architect was built it too far out, didn't give enough turning radius.
Oh yeah, you can see where the roll. Yeah, where everything's rolled up on the side. So here they've done a beautiful job.
Yeah. Well, this is, and also it helps with the bike lane to where you've got a little bit more room.
I agree.
Okay, fights. I'm curious about fights. In the bar. Have you seen a lot?
I have. Not? No. Well, once again, it goes back on
de-escalating before
before it escalates. Now, you hear a lot of stories. I will tell you the first fight I've ever was in at Manhattan's was me, Stoney, and Pedro.
Okay.
And now, mind you, I just went from day bar at Manhattan's to the nighttime stuff.
Okay.
And this is around 2000. And this Stoney is, no, I'm sorry, Pedro was just telling this motherfucker you were done. He was at the corner of the bar by the service area. And I walked up behind Pedro and I was like, look, dude, just go away, trying to help out. And Pedro, I'm sorry, I keep saying Stoney, but Pedro comes around the bar and I came with Pedro because you always back up, right?
Yeah.
And this guy was one guy. But Pedro knew this is my first time ever really dealing with this. Now, mind you, I came from Helmet Head. I had a massive motorcycle bar down the street, which was, you think, Outlaws and all these other clubs and stuff like that, which everybody was super awesome.
Yeah.
Everybody took care of themselves. There was not one problem because why?
Yeah.
They're,
Yeah.
But Pedro pushed me right in front of this guy and was like, I want you to take care of this. I was like, son of a bitch. And I was like, come on. And I'm pushing him towards the front door, right? And he cocks back, right? And I feel Pedro's hand on my back. And I'm thinking, all right, whatever you do, if he connects, do not go down.
Yeah.
Don't go down. Shrug it off and attack. Go.
Yeah.
Right? So he drunk misses. I mean, misses me. And I was like, oh, it's in. So Pedro shoves me forward, and I grab this. Now, by this way, I'm closer to the door.
Okay.
You know Josh Staunton?
Yeah.
Okay. Josh Staunton, it's a great story. Josh Staunton is sitting in booth number 9. That's right when you walk in the door. And then the table over there by the fireplace is 10. Okay? I grab this guy around the head and put him in a headlock. Throw my hip in him, and I pull his head while Pedro has got him by the hip and pulling him down. So he's like a Stretch Armstrong.
Oh, my God.
And when I pulled him, his neck, starts popping. And he goes, like that. And Josh Staunton looks at me and goes, oh, shit. Right? And I was like, oh, my God, this is awesome, right?
Yeah.
So Pedro grabs his feet, and I feel his head turning in my arms.
Yeah.
And Pedro goes, to the door, Brooklyn. And I was like, okay. Now, mind you, I'm still kind of new here. One door is locked for a reason, and the other door stays open. Well, I actually went to the door that was locked. So we went, bam! And Pedro goes, get the other door, Brooke! So we batter him in through the door, and he's out on the stoop. Now, once they're outside, it's done.
Yeah.
It's done. And our neighborhood patrolman was coming up the street. Didn't ask us 2 questions. Grabbed the kid up, and he was done. It was done.
My God.
And it happened all in a span of 30 seconds.
Yeah.
It felt like it took 10 days
Yeah.
for this to transform. But after that, no, it's been very few. A lot of them are just scuffles and push-outs, and you're done,
Yeah.
But after that, I have always had guys like you, or I've actually had, who has always protected me or the bar more, not so much me, but the bar, is once again the ladies.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
When they get involved and they don't like it, because they get very protective of the bar people behind the bar, they'll clear out a room.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I got my girl here, Sheena. I don't know if you've met Sheena. She's almost as tall as you.
No, I haven't met
Oh,
Sheena.
she's a doll. She's beautiful, but that's the main protector. She will snap a person in half.
Oh,
but she's a fantastic bartender.
I've had a few times where it's been a female friend of mine, and they do that, where they immediately become not mom, but they're
the tiger mom,
shutting it down.
Yeah.
And there's been a time or two where I've just looked over the top of them and said, I'm next.
Yeah, I'm next. Yeah, wait for me.
Yeah. We don't want to elevate it to that level.
We don't want to elevate it, right. And it's always bothers me when the ladies, but it's just, that's, everybody can take care of themselves. But the thing is that you de-escalate it, because you don't want anybody, no matter how jerky somebody is, I don't want them to get really hurt. I just don't. I mean, the main thing that we do, and Sean Blair taught me this, and I thought it was a great thing, you ask questions.
Yeah.
You give a drunk options. you can do this, or we can do it this way.
Right.
You can keep going with your night if you pay a tab and leave.
Yeah.
You know what? At this point, don't pay a tab. Don't worry about it. Just go. Or I get KPD in here.
Yeah.
Well, even before we get to that, or guys like you and they can handle it, and it's going to be bad for you.
Yeah.
Or we get KPD in here, and your night's finished.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you want to leave now? You want to get a beating, or do you want to just finish out your night? So a lot of times when you give choices like that,
let's get your phone.
Let's get your
stuff.
Uber.
Let's get an Uber.
Let's put you together.
Yeah.
And you're not aggressive with them.
Yeah.
You know, you're not aggressive with the person. You just that's so funny because when you go to get your server license and stuff, and you're these new bartenders. Right,
I've got mine.
Okay, well,
I went and got mine last summer.
So you were in there for the class for the
Yeah.
duration. You probably went to the police. Did you go to the police station, or did you go to Pouncey or Mark Jane's or whatever?
I went to one that we were in, Blaze Pizza or something out west.
Well,
yeah.
you probably witnessed this then. So guys like us old guys that we have to still go every 5 years and stuff like that. And I have to go every year because of a proprietor. We have to go. Because we have.
I
to
think
get our
Stanton
beer license.
told me that
Right.
that he
have
has
to keep going all the time. But we cover all the other things. But for your beer license, but you get your service license through the state for your alcohol. And the problem is, and I think it needs to be adjusted and retold or reformulated, because the only thing that's going to teach a young kid how to bartend is experience.
Yeah.
Okay? And you don't throw them to the fire. You just throw them to where they can handle it. Now, some kids got more skills than others, and it's not as easy as everybody wants it to be or thinks it is, and not as glamorous as everybody thinks it is. But when you go to those classes, what you hear is the what-ifs scenarios.
Yeah.
Well, what if somebody happens? What if this does this? Or what if this person does? The answer is always the same. You don't talk aggressively. You keep your voice calm. You give options.
Yeah.
And you de-escalate.
Yeah.
That's the main thing.
And they push real big on the making sure you keep count of how many drinks you serve.
Well, that's and that's a given.
Yeah.
But now
I had never thought about that.
You have
though.
to keep that.
Yeah.
You have to watch out for that stuff. Now, is it foolproof? No.
Yeah. If you got a busy bar,
right. If you have a bar that's a problem all the time and that you have to call a lot of cops to and stuff like that, then they're going to shut you down sooner or later. Yeah.
So I had heard this story. Beer and Beer Market always had issues with, it's not a sting, but it's whatever, where they try and
bus.
Yeah, they test it.
Yeah.
And
I think it's great. You should be doing this.
But the problem I had with what I had experienced by being there was somebody would go in because of how it was. You went in, you bought a beer, and then you walked over, and they're like, well, then we had an 18-year-old standing there, and the person handed them a beer. I was like,
that's not the bartender's fault.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's not
crazy
the bartender's fault.
Because that could happen in here.
Yeah.
Like that could happen what the hell are
but
you?
I'm 21 and over in here only.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
but you know what I mean.
Like, but that's not those
Schultzbräu's a great example where you order the beer inside. And you walk in, like you can't control it at that point.
I'm very strongly about this, and I think once again KPD, you do an amazing job. Thank you very much for your service, and all that. But I don't like it when they try to not so much as entrap, but it's a little the deception, so to speak.
Yeah.
So if a guy comes up, orders 2 beers, well, the main thing is I need to see an ID for that second beer.
Yeah.
Right? Or what I've heard is that they show one ID to the door guy, and a bartender has a right to ask for the ID again.
Right.
So it's not the door guy's fault.
Yeah.
Because he let the right person in. Then they ask for another ID, and it's something else, or they don't show it because it's busy and they've already went in through the door guy. Well, that's not right. You know what I'm saying? So I give here, and I hope more owners do this. I give bounties.
Yeah.
I give, and I wait for KPD or the board there to send me, hey, look, we did an operation in your bar. You passed, yada, yada. Do you remember? And I call and ask them, do you remember the bartender?
Yeah.
And they said, yes, it's so-and-so. And I give that bartender $100.
Awesome.
Yeah. Because I want us to always stay vigilant, because it's not just making – what happens with young bartenders today is that they tend to think the drunker I get you, the more money you're going to tip, and that is never the case.
No.
If I keep you safe and I keep everybody legitimate in here and keep everybody on that nice, warm glow and then get you home where you need to be, then you're going to come back more often than waking up the next morning and be like, what, I just got hit by a truck.
Yeah.
Right? And I got $25 for you for one time, or maybe I'll see you twice a month. When if I take care of you, I see you 4 times, 5 times, and then you've taken care of me, I've taken care of you, we built a relationship, and everybody gets
you're safe there.
You're safe, and everybody's copacetic. And I'm a big advocate for that.
Okay.
I believe that it's not always you make your bread and butter. You pay your bills Monday through Thursday.
Yeah.
Everything Friday and Saturday are gravy.
Okay.
That's what bartenders have to look at. You have to learn how to budget yourself, because you don't need. I mean, people want to drink. People are going to drink, and we're there to do that.
Yeah.
But it's sometimes the cards are stacked against us, and the reason we shut people off, because if I shut you off, and speaking of getting upset or fighting, I shut you down. It's not for you to get in a fight with me. It's because I have to make a living.
Yeah.
You could still go to work tomorrow, and they're not going to kill you. They'll crucify us.
Oh, yeah.
They'll crucify us a little bit. So I try to be real steadfast with that.
Have they cracked down or something? It seems like in the last 10 years, like about 10 years ago, I started getting carded more and more to where now it's just regular.
Yeah.
But it seems like 10 years ago, I could go in somewhere and they'd be like, oh, I can tell you're over the age.
Well, there was a time where, you're supposed to card anybody, but I thought some time ago, I don't know if this is true or not, but Tennessee passed a law where it was
maybe longer than 10 years ago.
65 or older, you did not have to ask. So if a person looked 65 or 60, you did not have to ask them for an ID, because a lot of older clientele were a little peeved that look at me, you know I'm not, and then a lot of people don't want to show their IDs when they get to a certain age. That's not, it's being respectful. But I thought that was like an understanding, or I don't know if it was a law or anything like that, if that was possible. But it's because it is a hassle. I'd rather be safe than sorry. Hey, look, we've met a couple of times, but I've had people in here that says, Brooklyn, you've served me before. You know what? I have. I have served you before, but I want to see it again now.
Yeah.
Because I want to see it, because you never know. Somebody in here may be with KPD watching that and saying, oh, they don't card down there. And no. I'm going to watch it. I don't care if it upsets you.
And I felt like it's happened more here in the state of Tennessee, because when I go to North Carolina or Ohio, I'll reach for my wallet and they're like, you're fine.
Yeah.
Like, we don't need to look at it. I was like, what's going on in the state of Tennessee?
Well, you look at what you just mentioned. You mentioned Ohio.
Yeah.
You mentioned northern, the northern up there. So the culture's a little different.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a little more, you go up to Ohio and you go up to the neighborhoods and there's a local on the corner.
Although I will say it's funny, because there's a couple of bouncers in town, or 3 bouncers in town, that if they see me walking up, if they see me reaching for my wallet, they just kind of nod. They're like,
oh, yeah.
Like,
well,
we know you, we're good. Yeah.
Well, that's the beauty of this town.
Yeah.
I mean, you get the regulars that you're like, come, come sit.
Yeah.
But once again, here,
it's not about you and I. It's about that person at the end of the bar who could be.
Yes, but it's also a college town.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what else it is. I've gotten older. You've gotten older.
Yeah.
And everybody around me looks like they're young.
Yeah.
And I don't remember ever looking that way.
Yeah.
But they're young now, and so I look at them and I'm like, somebody was like, Brooklyn, it's 98 now on the, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Is it really 90? Wow,
that hurts my brain.
It does. It's crazy. It's crazy.
When I saw it flip over to the 2000s for cigarettes, I was like, God. No.
It's creepy, but, I just.
On the flip side.
I'd just rather be safe than sorry.
When I was in high school, I was always the one they sent into the bread box for the. Never alcohol, but it was always like cigarettes or dirty magazines.
Really?
I would be 14 walking in there and be like, can I have some Skull?
Skull? And I'll take jugs.
And I'll take that High Society.
High Society.
I'm trying to think
the handy dandy pocket, please. Thank you so much.
Yeah. There was one guy I love, and how he wasn't a bartender, I don't know.
Oh my God!
But there was a bread box that my buddy Robbie and I used to always walk to.
Right.
I would crash at Robbie's house on the weekends. We both worked at Aliceville Ballpark, and we would work at the fields, and then we would also scorekeep. But I would crash out at Robbie's, and we'd walk to that bread box on Whittles. And there's this older guy in there. Every time we walk in, hey, boys, how's it going? Oh. That's how he talked. And then we were in there one night, and it was like 2 a.m. He was like, we would sometimes go a couple times to get whatever. Right. Just we need to get the hell out of the house. And so he would go, boys, don't come back around 4 because I got to take a shit. So don't come in for about 30 minutes. So I was like, okay. So we called him shit break. Never to his face. Never to his face. But there was one time we went in there, and he was really quiet. And we're like, what the hell's going on? And we left, and we came back a couple hours later, and he was like, it's getting a little service underneath the counter, boys.
Oh, is that right?
And we were both like 15, or Robbie is 16, I was 15. We were like, service. Oh, shit.
Oh, is that right?
He's cool. He's awesome. But we would buy dirty magazines, and one time I finally asked him, I was like, why are you, like, and he was like, as long as I don't get no calls from no mamas, I don't give a shit.
I don't care.
Like, oh my God. But we also knew never to push the limits and be like,
no,
we're
you
going to
don't.
get alcohol.
And that's the.
But like dirty magazines.
Right,
like,
yeah.
You see this shit on HBO. What do you.
Yeah, I don't know. I found my next door neighbor's dad's dirty magazines and was like, whoa, that's what that. Well, the 60s are different. Let me just tell you.
They look a little bit more like me.
Yeah. I mean, I go down on a girl, look like Stalin,
Jesus Christ.
It's like, wow.
Missy, don't listen to any of this.
No, PM, pre-Missy. But I was the kid that used to get asked to go to the liquor store.
Okay.
And this was in high school. And once again, I can't do the hellos, the broken voice. But I would go in, and I won't mention the place's name, but it was in Morristown, and a wonderful gentleman there. And he would be in the counter, and the old place that the manager used to sit in above, if you remember the 2-tier counter kind of things, right? And I would sit there, and I would walk in. I wouldn't peruse the whole place. I'd walk in, and right by the door were like the bargain basement drinks, right. And I would grab a liter of Pepe Lopez.
Oh, Jesus.
And I would grab a liter of peach schnapps because that's the two that my hand touched at that particular moment, my first time going into this liquor store. And I set it up and walk up to the counter. And the man behind the counter is like you, gigantic man, an African-American man behind the counter. And I was scared. Yeah. He's going to know. But really, in hindsight being 2020, all he's going to do is kick me in my butt and just move away, kid. Yeah. Right? So I look at him, and he goes, do you have your ID? And I said, I tried to get as low as I could. I was like, no, I left it back in the dorm room. Yeah. And he looks at me, and he looks back at the manager up above who's reading the paper, and he goes, hey, have you seen this kid in here before? And I swear, it's like an old movie. He just cracks down the one corner of the paper and goes, yeah, he's all right. I've never met the man in my life. He's like, yeah, he's good, right? So he goes, all right. So I was in, there it is, right? Yeah. So go on. And, I'm 18, 17, 18. Go back a couple of weeks later, right, and got, start making a rapport with this gentleman, the big guy behind the counter there. And he goes, you guys having a party tonight? I said, yes, sir, we are. And I finally got, moving around now in the liquor store. I get to move around and peruse a little bit. And so I'm starting to get, still this day, I can't smell or drink peach schnapps. I'll put that on the thing.
I have a peach schnapps, same thing.
So I went in and finally got the right, the Goldschlager now because, we're all, and the Rumpelmints. And then some vodka. And then go up to the bar, and peel out all the sweaty money that everybody's pooled together. And set it down the counter, and he goes, it's yada yada, and he goes, you having a party? I said, yes, sir, we are. And he goes, you want some weed?
Oh, my God.
I was like, huh? He goes, do you want some weed? And I was like, yeah. He goes, how much you want? I was like, how much do you get? Yeah. And he goes, here's a 20. Back in the day, you used to get a 20 bag, and it was half filled with, it had 4 pre-rolled joints in it. Yeah. And so I bought my liquor and bought my weed, and that place is gone now, by the way, everybody.
I don't know why.
Listening.
I don't know
it's
why.
It's gone now. It
why.
doesn't exist anymore. But, I had an instant party.
I can't imagine. Like, Yeah, the amount of time, like the Mercury on Market Square, I used to go in there when I was 14.
Right.
And I was like, well, it's because I'm big. And recently somebody's like, no, it's because they didn't give a shit. And they didn't. I was like, let me hold on to this for a while.
Right, right.
I was like, we're not going to pay attention to the 3 girls that went with me that all looked young
9.
like me.
Yeah, they look
I was like,
17.
but we're not going to talk about them. We're going to talk about, oh, they just let me in because I was a big dude. And they're like, no, they did not let you in because you're a big dude. It's like, damn it. Okay. I still remember when the dip, do you remember the little pouches?
The Bandits.
Yeah, those
Skull
things
Bandits,
came out and they're like cherry flavored. And one of my buddies was
Oh.
obsessed. I went
You
in.
were a country boy.
Yeah, in the city and going to phone. So I went in and they're like,
South
"Oh, what
Alabama,
flavor
country
would you
boy.
like?"
Yeah.
And I was like, and I walked back out to the car and I was like, "What flavor do you want?" And he was like, "Mint." And I go back in. I was like, "I'll take mint, please." And they're like, "Okay." And I was like, "You're a dumbass. Why did you say that?" I had to walk out to the car and ask the guy what he wanted. The other 15-year-old,
Right.
like, what do we want? Mint?
Yeah.
Cool.
Man, yeah, I'll
Yeah.
be right back.
Yeah, I'll
Well,
be
let me
right
go
back.
see what my dad wants.
Yeah. My dad.
My
yeah.
dad,
I'm getting
yeah.
this. Oh, God.
Used to buy a pack of Merits for like, what was it, like 75 cents?
Yeah.
Merits.
I had bought cigarettes for my mom and dad before when I was underage.
Oh, yeah.
And literally went, I'm buying this for my mom and dad. And
Yeah.
they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
They
Those are
just
the days,
trusted
yeah.
it. They just trusted it. And they're
Yeah.
like, do you want a carton? I was like,
No.
they didn't give me enough for a carton. I was like, I'll just take a couple packs.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
they're like Marlboro Red. I was like, I think that's what they
Oh, yeah.
wanted.
That was it. Your dad
Yeah.
park it. Go run in there and get me a pack of smokes. I'm
Yeah.
like, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, hell, the first beer I ever had, Mom gave it to me at a party, and it was a Bud Light in a solo cup, and I just remember taking one swig and going, oh, God, that's disgusting.
Oh, I had a
God.
different reaction.
Turned me off to beer forever.
I was sitting in my godmother's flat in
Yeah.
Brooklyn. We were all sitting around, real Italian, sitting around the tables in the dining area, and it's after coffee, you know. They're
Yeah.
all sitting there. Usually they wind up playing cards or something like that.
Yeah.
The kids. So I got upset on my mother's lap, and in front of her was a small torpedo bottle, not a pony, but not a full size. It was like
Yeah.
a torpedo bottle looking shape of High Life.
Okay.
Now, growing up in my family, we were never. We had cocktail hours. I grew up with cocktail hour and
Yeah.
all that stuff, and we were never, not so much as my mother and father so much, but drinking
Right.
was just part of it.
Right.
My grandparents and stuff, and we always had wine sometimes at the table. So
Yeah.
it was something that I never looked as taboo.
Right.
I knew it was an older thing, and we would always have sips of wine, and so. But I got my first beer, and it was a High Life.
Yeah.
And my mother, I said, looked at it, and I said, can I have a sip? And my mother said, yeah, sure, you can have a sip. So I took a sip, and then took another sip, and I loved it.
Oh,
and
my
I was
God.
like, oh, and I still drink High Life today, and I think
Yeah.
it remembers, and I
Yeah.
still reminisce about that stuff. But I never was taught to, I was always taught to respect it, but not to be afraid of it.
Right.
Or never to touch it.
Right.
Because, once you say don't touch something, what's the
Right.
first thing you want to do? Until I moved and got drinking here in Tennessee, in Morristown, and everybody is pounding and pounding
Oh,
and
yeah.
pounding. And I'm like, why is everybody in a rush?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, we got to get drunk and get home before our parents get back from the bar. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, what the hell? So it was.
Oh, my
It was an interesting thing. Yeah.
See, I was the opposite. I was so scared. I would never drink or anything like that
Yeah.
in front of my parents. I've still never drank in front of my parents. I don't think I've ever, very rarely,
I drink because
cussed.
of my
And it's it's only happened in the last 5 years that I've said a cuss word in front of my parents because
Oh,
it was
yeah.
just my parents were very much like, this is not what we do. Like they
Right,
never cussed
right.
in front of my grandparents
Right.
or
Oh,
never
well,
drank
yeah.
in front of my grandparents.
Right.
So that was very much instilled with me. So now with social media and they'll see drinks and stuff and they'll be like, there was one point,
Now,
oh
Jody.
God, you're going to love we're going to go out on this. I'm going
Okay.
to tell you a story about my dad. I had just bought my house, moved in, had Bud Light in the back of the fridge, and they came over. They were looking around the house, and I had to open my fridge, show my mom that I had food in there because she didn't trust I had food. And there was beer in the back, and it was Bud Light. And didn't say anything. They left. I'm 25 at this point. As they're going home, Mom was like, don't know how I feel about him having beer in that fridge. And Dad said, only problem I have is that bullshit Bud Light. He ain't got anything good in there like High Life. Swear to God, that's what he said.
There's a man after
and
my
I
own
was
heart.
like, and that's still the funniest. Anything good like High Life? I was like, Jesus,
He knew.
Dad.
He
Okay,
knew. That's a man
Oh
right
my
there.
God.
Well, you made it to the age, you know. There's
Yeah.
a age when you get it respected, so
yeah,
good for you.
yeah, we'll see. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.